And we're live. Well, folks, sorry to break it to you, but again, I am not KG. Not as funny as KG, not as handsome as KG, not as famous, not as good an actor. But, you know, not much I can change about that now. It's the 5 things deep. What we'll do, first off, we'll get into the main things. What the main man KG does. Shout out to the Durex gang. Shout out to the free seats. And again, as is normal the last couple of weeks, I'm going to send out the link. And in the background, the main man, Rich, will be there. Have a chat with him. Let me know what you want to talk about. Got the Chelsea Leicester game in the background here. It looks like they've won it, which means we're second. Bit of a poor way to finish off the season, but we'll get into that. Anyway, I'm going to send out the link. Just hit the link, come in if you want to have a chat. What I'm going to say first off is most weeks, we get all the regulars in straight away. They boom, hit the link, and the studio fills up. And potentially some of the people who don't get to hear from enough, or we've never heard from before, don't get a chance to get in. So if you're one of the regulars and you come in, and I see that they give you notifications that people are trying to get in, but the studio's full. If I knock you out, just stay out. We'll bring you back in, but we want to get some new, fresh voices in. But let's get into it. Actually, what we'll do before that, I've got my 5 things deeped. And what I like to do is I like to go from start off negative and then bring it up, be a bit more positive towards the end. Or I do the other. Let me know. Do you want me to start positive or start negative? That sort of gives off a wee bit what my strategy is in terms of being a little bit reckless on things. I'm just having a look in the chat here, see who we've got. Romeo Daly, always a fantastic caller. Romeo, make sure you get in. Is it KG or Bradley? Somebody let him know. Might be a bit confusing. I Fast with Bradley says, inside. All right. Yeah. The big main man, Rich, in the building there. New callers, call in. I don't like to interrupt. I let people go on possibly too much. Last week, we did go on for 2 hours. But yeah, that's fine. Martin saying Bradley's sound, but KG something else. Sound. Isn't that a lovely sound? I'm all right. Bradley's average, but KG something else. I do agree with you, however. Let me know. Let's have a see. Doncaster fan here, ready to call. Coaster Chal. Is it Coaster? Aaron? Is that you, Aaron Challoner? Is that you, Aaron? Are you trying to pretend not to be a regular so that you can get on here? Got my eye on you. Okay, so I've got here negative. I assume that means start off negative. And congratulations, you were awarded the biggest Man United fan apparently. So I'll take second, no problem. So first thing deeped. Hold on, KG, so smooth. The first thing deeped will start off negative. Wasn't that absolutely dire atrocious? That second half was disgusting. I have no idea really why, but I'm so annoyed by that result and that performance. I might even be slightly or equally annoyed about that result than I was with the Liverpool one. I have no idea why. Something about that really, really annoyed me. It made me feel a wee bit sick. The first half looked so promising. Things were looking well. We had a good performance. Oh, when Leicester have just scored 2-1 there, we might not finish second. Keep an eye on there. 2-1 to Chelsea. Yeah, the first half looked quite good. It was some silky football. Things were looking all right. And then that second half, that was poor. It was hard to watch. It seemed like it looked like we were very fresh first half. The second half, FC had disappeared. It looked like we started off well. Cavani got us off to a good start. The general play was good. We didn't look too open at the back. But the second half, it looked poor. I can't put my finger on it, and if anybody else can let me know why, but something about that game really, really frustrated me and made me feel quite annoyed. But we'll go on to it. Number 2. Glazers out. Get the Glazers out of my club. And I don't want to let this drop. Said it before the Liverpool game, unfortunately. If we beat Liverpool 9-0, I want to hear Glazers out. So the same goes here. If we draw one each in a non-important game, I still want to hear Glazers out. I'm seeing it today, the GO, the fans in the crowd. GO, Glazers out, go. Get them out. Let's keep it up, folks. Don't let them forget it, because this is what they're hoping for. You see the Kane news, you see all the transfer news. Varane news was coming out shortly after the ESL debacle. Don't let them forget it. Keep it up. Keep the green and gold going. We've seen the scarves, a lot of the scarves being worn today. Don't let them forget it. Glazers out, you absolute scumbags. I'm not as smooth as KJ. I literally have a piece of paper here I'm reading. The third thing, so we're going a wee bit more positive now. Sort of. In the first half, which is going along with what I said before, in the first half, we seen Ollie. I think it was shortly after the goal, we seen Ollie down at the side of the pitch, being loud, making himself known, shouting, giving instructions. And I mentioned it with my friend on our little watch along, but we'll plug that later. That's what I want to see. And I've mentioned it before on this show. I really want to see some passion out of him. I want to see him getting off his seat. I don't want to see him with his legs crossed halfway up, like my main man Ferbs showed us in his car. I don't want to see that. I don't want him again. I don't want to see him on the side of the pitch screaming like a madman, making an idiot of himself. But I want to see him try and influence the game as the game's going on, because he's supposed to be a great man manager. So get out there, give out instructions. You did it before with Jesse Lingard. You were swearing, you were shouting, you looked very angry. You do that one more time and you're, swear word, off. We want to see that more often. It makes me wonder why we don't see it more often. If you're capable of doing it on that occasion and you're capable of doing it today, why doesn't it happen more often? Is it a case where sometimes he loses his cool and then he can't stop himself from doing that? Or is it that's the only times that he sees fit? I don't really believe that, because there's been so many times where you just want somebody down there screaming and bawling. So some positive there. I liked seeing it in the first half, but where was it in the second half? We didn't see it again. We've seen that the one time, second half, when the performances dropped, when the goal went in, when the defence fell asleep. We didn't see it again. So why did we see it in the first half when we were 1-0 up, but we didn't see it in the second half? I'm so old and not as smooth as KG. That was number 3. Why didn't we see it in the second half? Was it a case where in the first half things are going well, we get a good goal, everyone's happy, the fans are back in the stadium, everybody's confident, he's maybe told the players to get out there, be creative, express yourself, do something good, just enjoy the game, make it entertaining for the fans that have come out here today. They must feel on cloud 9 that they've been one of the ones that were picked to come and see this game. Go out and give them a show. The result doesn't really matter, but go out and give them a show. So when we go 1-0 up, he's then out on the side of the pitch being loud. But then when it goes 1 each and the performances start to drop, we don't see him. I don't get the logic. And I would really like to know why he does it in the weird specific moments that he does do it. With Jesse Lingard, with the famous one that everybody knows what I'm talking about with the Jesse Lingard thing. Is that because he knows Jesse Lingard that well and he knows his character and he can maybe go to Jesse, go, don't take that personally. I needed to show you something. I don't know, but I would love to see more of it. Apparently, you're the baby-faced assassin and that you're ruthless in the background. Let's show us more of it, because you'll get a lot of the Ollie outers and the Ollie doubters. You'll get a lot of them more on your side. And the more people are on your side, the more people are on the backs of those Glazers. So similar to point 2, Glazers out. Fourth thing, Deep. We're getting a bit more positive now. The fans being back in the crowd truly, really made me feel like I enjoyed this game today. I do watch-alongs for the games, as has been advertised on here before. But a lot of the games, even ones where we're like the Roma game, where we've been free scoring, scored 6 goals and tons of celebrations, love doing it, love chatting to people. love being able to express myself and things like that, but there's always something missing. And today, also with the good performance in the first half, today, just seeing and hearing real, true fans there and seeing the celebrations and seeing Cavani running over and celebrating with him, it really made you remember what fans do for football. It's the cliche to say now, there's no football without fans. But when we've been over a year now without any fans, even when back mid-year near the start of the season, when most teams got fans back in for a couple of games, like that 2,000 fans, we never even got to witness that. So when it came back, and today was the first time we've seen fans in Old Trafford, it really, really, it was a heartwarming thing, and it just goes to show that fans truly are the only reason that we watch football. Without the fans, you don't have players out there that are able to make the money that they are. We don't have the top quality United players that we have without the fans, without the backing. So let's not forget that. And again, as with point 2, Glazers out. Fifth thing deep, and then we'll get into chatting to you guys, because I know you're not here to see me. You're here to see KG. But, it's a contractual obligation. I've got to say 5 different things. And the Glazers out thing was, an easy one, cheap one. But the last one I've reserved for the main man and for my favourite player, who I've spoken about multiple times. And no, it's not Victor Nickersoff. You can take that to the bank. Edison Cavani. That's not my favourite player, although he's up there. Edison Cavani has truly broke the number 7 curse. What is that, you say? The absolute atrocious performances that we've got out of multiple players that have come into the club and worn the number 7 shirt. Famously started by Michael Owen. It has continued since then. Di Maria, Sanchez, the list may go on. Cavani has well and truly broke that curse. His performances have been outstanding. His general effect on the club, on the team, on the younger players has been outstanding. And I don't think I've been so happy in recent years for a transfer than I have been when we heard that Cavani signed that extra deal, that extra year. And a big part of that was the effect that he has on Mason Greenwood, who, as I just said, that is my favourite player. And no matter if he's good, I won't complain until he gets a bit older. But if he has a poor performance, that's fine. So it's a part of growing up. If he has an average performance, I'll still get on and say, let's back him. He's our future. That's a generational talent. Let's hope this is the case. Might be a bit reckless, but he's the type of player. He has the talent. He seems to have that work ethic. We had that blip in the summer, but all the best players have something in their locker. You got Rio, he's had his demons. Rooney had his demons. And I'm going to speak about Greenwood in the same sort of breath. He has the sort of talent, and if he can keep his head down and he can perform consistently as he has done, this is a 19-year-old who's played 100 games, more than 100 games for Man United. Excellent off both feet, has pace. This year we've seen his stature grow. He's more confident, and a lot of that's down with the Edison Cavani. So, Ollie, I know you're watching this because why wouldn't you be? But you're probably not. I want to see, and I hope people agree with me in the comments. Let me know if you do or you don't. I want to see 2 strikers up top. I want to see Edison Cavani, and I want to see Mason Greenwood beside him. I think that partnership together would be phenomenal to see. And I would like to see maybe the fullbacks getting forward a bit, them being the ones to supply the crosses. But I want to see those 2 up front and Bruno Fernandes just below them. I would love to see the interaction that those 2 can have, the movement of Cavani, the speed and the 2-footedness of Greenwood, and just the general talent. He could just pull something out of nowhere. I think those 2 up front, world beaters for a season until Cavani potentially goes. But I would love to see that. And this is what I'll open up, and I want some discussion on this also. Harry Kane. We're hearing a lot about it now. And is this a ploy again by the Glazers? Glazers out. Is this a ploy by them to distract away from the real problem at the club? But is it a ploy? Get the message out there. Let's talk about Harry Kane. Let's not talk about us. But let me know in the chat, what do you think about the Harry Kane thing? Is it a yes or no? If Harry Kane does come in, does that mean Tony Martial's out the door? Is that harsh to say because he's been injured? He can't really defend himself, even though he's had a very poor season. Let me know and let's have a chat about it. Okay, let's open up the lines. Let's get the link and fire it into the comments. Shout out, guys. So again, we want to get some new guys in here. If you're one of the regulars and you get removed from the chat, that doesn't mean anything. It just means we want to open up a bit of space, potentially get some new guys in. We'll keep it quick and we'll get people in there. So the link is in the chat. Everybody come on. See, some regulars are already in the building. Again, if you get kicked out, don't worry. You haven't done anything wrong. Might just be trying to make up some space, because what happens is all the regulars get in and then there's no space for any new guys. So new guys, if you're in here, jump in. Let's have your say. This show isn't about me. This show isn't about KG. We get a little moment at the start. Just try and get the conversation going. But this is about you guys. We want to hear from you. We want some discussions, potentially in the background. If Rich can do his magic, we'll have a little bit of fights and stuff, because that's the most entertaining stuff. Not this this old man here rambling on about what he wants to say about Man United. But I'm seeing a lot of the regulars in here. You folks, let's get in. Going to have to bring somebody else in, because I can't just keep rambling on like this for the whole time. What I will do is I'll bring on the main man here, and he's on thin ice. I'll say that for now. He's on thin ice from last week, because he did a madness. He did a madness, but I'm going to bring him on. I'm going to give him a chance. I'm watching you. What do you got to say, bro?
Yo, what's poppin'? Shout out to United Fan TV as well. Watched you watch along again. Amazing.
Thanks very much. What do you got to say today, Ahad?
I think, I don't know why, like, a lot of people today, they support Lindelof. Like, I didn't support Lindelof today. Like, I think he got. If you've seen the thing with Lindelof, is he always gets bullied. Like, if as a United fan, if you see Lindelof in the defense, it kind of shakes you.
Should have pressed it. People should have. Is this a sin bin? I know most of you probably won't agree with me. You want McGuire, but I feel like pressing the button. Ahad, you really know how to wind me up. Is this you do this on purpose?
Nah, but I just don't like Lindelof. Ever since Maguire was gone.
I gave him a chance. Now, come on. That is an agenda. I just don't like him. You heard it there. I just don't like him. I'm going to bring you back on here. Give us a bit more constructive criticism. I thought, without being biased, and I know I am very biased, but a lot of it's for comedy effect. I thought in the first half he was very, very good. He was probably potentially, and today, with everything considered, he wasn't as bad as the rest of them. Come on, constructiveness now. Come on, don't get sin binned again.
Yeah, I think Lindelof do well, but I think he can improve more. But the thing.
Sin bin again. You are a madman. He did well. Come, make your mind up. Right, last chance. Come on.
Yeah, Lindelof did well. Lindelof did well. I gave him a 6 today.
Okay.
Good performance.
Give me your ratings for all the 4 defenders today.
I gave Tuanzebe a 6. I gave Lindelof a 6. I gave Wan-Bissaka a 5, and Luke Shaw a 6. Because what I gave Wan-Bissaka a 5, I would have been harsh and give him a 4, but I'm nice to all the players, and I give Wan-Bissaka a 5. And that's because when Wan-Bissaka didn't really do anything this game, yeah, he was consistent and all that. But the thing is, when the goal we conceded, why was nobody marking Wan-Bissaka? Wan-Bissaka was in the centre back position. You see, it should have been Lindelof and Tuanzebe in the centre back position. But if you've seen where Wan-Bissaka positioning was, it was in the centre back position. It should have been in the right back positioning.
I have to agree with you there. When I first seen it, I thought, oh well, Luke Shaw should have closed down the cross a lot quicker.
It was kind of like the Spurs goal.
I
It's
thought
kind of like
Wan-Bissaka left his
yeah.
man at the back there, but on a couple of more viewings, we did see that there were three people around him. Now, it doesn't excuse the fact that he wasn't marking any of them. It actually probably makes him look a wee bit worse that he had nobody beside him, but he looked.
But the funny thing is, the goal we concede is because of when like the Wan-Bissaka goal we concede is that Wan-Bissaka not in position. Like if you see him with his Spurs, his position was off.
Yep, agreed. I'm just looking up here. There is an absolute Royal Rumble going on in the Chelsea Leicester game here. There's crazy scenes here. I think there was a mad tackles went in. Things
Yeah.
are going mad. This is more interesting than the whole of the second half of the United game. Anyway, we'll keep it short. We'll try and get some new folks in today.
Yeah. Get the new folks in. I think they
Yep.
deserve a chance as we do.
Do you want to shout out your channel?
Yeah.
In the bin, not tonight, big son. I've got a long memory. I'm an elephant because I'm a wee bit larger. But not only because I'm just an elephant. I remember things. I remember that last week. You cheeky rascal. Right, no, hold on. I feel bad now. Come on. Shout out the channel I had.
Yeah. Shout out to Football Network. That's the channel we run. I mean, we changed the name because it was kind of being used all over the place. But yeah, we're doing a documentary right now. It's gonna be about the story of Leicester, like from the Championship to the Premier League, and we'll be doing more documentary as well. We'll be doing documentary of like Wolves, Nottingham Forest, Manchester United as well,
Who?
and yeah, and we're doing a documentary of Glazers out as well.
Okay. Right. Okay. Shout out then. Hope
Yeah,
it
shout out
turns
to
out
United
well.
Fan TV as well. Shout out to United Fan TV as well.
Good call I had.
Yeah,
As
thank
always.
you.
Oh, say it again.
No, I was just saying have a nice day.
Thank you very much. Goodbye. Now, let me see in the background. Have we any new folks? We have a guy here, and I've already put him up here. And I want he didn't have the nicest thing to say about me, but he did compare me to KG, and I am completely average if you compare me to him. Martin, what do you got to say, bro?
Listen, you're all right, mate. Don't worry about it.
Thanks very much. Thanks very much. What do you got to say? What's your point today?
Well, I watched that game. The goal, what a goal. It was offside, but who cares?
Sorry, Martin, just quickly. Lift it up a bit. Speak louder into your mic.
Is that better?
Try again. I think he just had his phone or something there. Did he throw it out the window? Did I annoy him? Anyway, we'll bring on a guy who is always reliable. Now, this chap here can talk for Britain. I think he must be on a radio show somewhere. And I can see him smiling in the background there. He knows who it is. So he's confident in his opinions. So I'm not going to let you go on and on and on like I did last week. I was just captivated by your speech and by your beautiful eyes. And no, Hamza, it's not you, but I'll bring you on soon. It's my main man, Aaron Challoner. How are you, bro?
I'm good, man. Since I was last on the show, we got our manager, former United Academy player. So it's all good. Richie Wellens is our new manager, which I'm very excited about. And we go through that. But United today, I think it was frustrating. I think it was frustrating because I think United could have had a chance to win that game, but it was just a case of, again, just not really playing for anything, and it had that mentality of we'll just ride through these last couple of games in the Premier League before we go on to the Europa League final. So it kind of felt like one of those games where they didn't really try as much, and I was quite annoyed at that. I think Luke Shaw's dropped off amazingly. I don't know where the drop-off's been, because I think he's arguably player of the season for United this season, along with Bruno Fernandes. Edison Cavani.
Hold on, Aaron. What? There has been official announcements on that today. Bruno Fernandes has been voted Man United player of the year. And as you say, Luke Shaw might have something to say about that. But I do think Luke Shaw, I agree with you, Luke Shaw's end of the season has been a little bit underwhelming. But I think
Yeah.
on balance of play and the true effect on our season, I think Bruno does deserve it. But Luke Shaw, a
Yeah.
close second.
Yeah, Luke Shaw's a close second. I think he's the most. I think Luke Shaw's the most improved player this season. I think I'd say that. I think I'd say he's United's most improved player this season. I think he's dropped off amazingly, which is unfortunate, and hopefully he does recover that form for the Europa League final and for the final game of the season against Wolves at the weekend.
Do
The
you
goal
think it's possibly overplaying, maybe not getting enough rest? I know he has been
potentially,
rested.
yeah. I
He
think we
has
saw
been
that with
rested more
Rashford. We
than
saw that with. I think we saw that at times with Rashford. We saw it. I think we saw it a couple, not massively, but I think we saw it one or two times with Bruno. I think a couple of times where he wasn't getting involved a couple of games. So I think that's got there's a major factor of overplaying, to be honest, and maybe a factor in the why they're getting overplayed is because they've not got the best quality as backup to them players, and that falls down to the Glazers, the money grabbing lapdogs. But it's interesting. Cavani's goal. Oh my god, that goal! Brilliant, absolutely world class. You could tell the guy's world class. So glad he signed the new deal. The Fulham goal. Look, I looked over it back. Yes, Luke Shaw could have closed it down a bit better, but there was, three men around him. In my opinion, and I've seen this before with a couple of our goals as well, where a man has to do better marking, but you've got three players around them that are not doing anything. I feel like it's a collective.
Sorry, Aaron.
Oh.
Keep your thought. But breaking news: the game has finished with Chelsea and Leicester. It's 2-1, which confirms Man United's second place finish for the season. Continue your thoughts.
And it also confirms Chelsea's top four place as well. When they confirm their top four place, so Chelsea are now in the top four. Leicester, I think, need a point now to confirm it on the last day of the season. So, congratulations to Chelsea, and hopefully, congratulations to Leicester at the weekend. But yeah,
hold on. You're about to get sent here. You're not allowed to congratulate Chelsea on this channel.
Oh, sorry. So I knew it was a rival channel. Sorry.
Continue.
But no, just from a neutral standpoint, it was just from a neutral standpoint. But no, like when you've got the player that's marking and needs to be doing better marking, but you've got the three players around him, it's a collective effort. The three players around him should do better to create this semicircle in a way. One person at the top of the semicircle, two at the side, and press, close in. They didn't do that. And I feel like it needs to be a collective effort to press down on opposition attacks, turn it into counter-attacks, and play about with the ball. They didn't do that. Again, it just felt like they were just passing it around, not even trying. It just felt like they've got nothing to play for now. And obviously it was confirmed tonight. They got second place confirmed. So it doesn't feel like they've got anything to play for now. So, they're not trying. And I think that could be bad going into the Europa League final, because imagine if you drop off that much. You go into the Europa League final, all guns blazing, but then you sort of pick up those bad habits from when you didn't bother to try in the last couple of games in the league. And Villarreal, you know what Unai Emery can do. They can just pass it round the back, launch a counter-attack when you're making mistakes, and they can get goals from it. They might not have got as many goals from Arsenal. Arsenal are people. They're people. I'll keep it PG. But Villarreal can still get loads of goals on United if they make mistakes from lackadaisical plays on the ball. But tonight, it was just a good point. It was a good point for Fulham, to take into the Championship next season. It was a good point for them. But it's a bad point for United. I think it's a bad point because I think they deserve 3 points from that. But it is what it is, mate. But, I'm glad that we've got a former Man United Academy man to take us forward, who is a legend for us as a player. So, Richie Wellens, Barmy Army, let's go. And it should be very exciting, mate. Really exciting with our new head of talent ID. Got Cardiff up to the Premier League, so he's taking that promotion to the Premier League with him. So with him, with Coppinger behind the scenes, and with Richie Wellens as manager, it's going to be a nice connection next season. So we'll see what happens.
Now, Aaron, a lot of people might not know what team you're referring to. Because you're firing out names there. A lot of people, let's be fair, not know who you're referring to. Give your team a shout out. Let us know how your season is finishing, and then also if you've got a channel, shout that out too.
Yeah. So of course I'm a Doncaster Rovers fan. Obviously we've got a few memories of United in the modern era, but no, we're in League One. We were we were nearly top of the league at Christmas, and we just Darren Moore left, Ben Whiteman left. We just dropped off, finished 14th, and it was just a bad end to the season. We've got a new manager, new head of talent identification. Coppinger's in the new advisory role. He's a legend of the club. He deserves a statue for what he's done. So he's working behind the scenes now as a club, and this whole new connection is going to be a great uplift for next season, bringing new players, whole new squads. For me personally, on my channel Forever Football DRFC, reflecting on this season, it's been an incredible first season on YouTube. I got to work with so many amazing people: AFTV, Talksport, the former chairman of the club, John Ryan, just a month or two ago on an interview. I got to do an interview with James Coppinger on the last day of the season, which was an amazing honour to do. He's been at the club for 17 years. He's played for over 800 games and scored nearly 100 goals. That's amazing for us. Like I say, he deserves a statue. And I got the chance to interview him on the final day of the season was an amazing day for me. We're nearly at 600 subs, which is great for a first season. I never expected to get 600 subs nearly. So going into next season, new players, new manager, new head of talent ID. I'll stress it again. He got Cardiff to the Premier League, so he's bringing that with him. And we'll see what happens. But honestly, man, I really hope we can get to the Premier League in the next decade. I really hope we get top flight football because this club deserves it. And as Wellens said in his statement when he came in as manager this week, this club's got so much potential. And I really hope we get to face you and demolish Arsenal in the Premier League at some point.
I'd love to say that, Aaron. Great call as always. Thanks for calling in. Call
Cheers,
in next
man.
time. And I should have said at the start, by the way. See you, Aaron. Oh, you'll be in the
Cheers.
background. You'll be listening anyway. Hold on, my mouse just went to sleep. I'm so old. KG will hopefully, most likely, he'll be back for the last game of the season, and I'll be back for the final. So you won't have to listen to my nonsense for too much longer. But I do hope you appreciate that I've come on, and we'll have our conversations. We want to give you your say. We could have just not done the show. I know most people don't really want to see me; they want to see KG. But at least if we do something, you get on, you get to have your say. And on that as well, we've got some of our regulars in the background. Stay there, be ready to come on. But we've got a new person here. Although I don't recognize the name. You might have been on before. Aryan? Literally just disconnected as I said his name. Anyway, is he back? No, he's gone again. Aryan, Aryan's on that Tie-Fi. Who's ready? Let me see. Never disappoints. I see you, Ferbs, in the background. You look like you're driving. So just give me a shout. Let me know when you're ready to go. We don't want to have any risks. We don't want to have any accidents, and I'm not going to be blamed for that. We're also looking for certain individuals in the background that we can have a little bit of a discussion with. Anyway, we'll bring on my main guy, Hamza. What did you deep,
what's
bro?
up, man? How are you doing?
What did you deep?
What?
What did you deep? It's the 5 things deeped.
Well, I'm gonna start off with that Cavani goal. My God, that goal was absolutely sensational. And I always criticize that De Gea distribution, but actually that pass was good. The pass was actually good to the space for Bruno, which was really good. I'll give him credit for that. But no, in all seriousness, it was great to have fans back. It was really, it gave me goosebumps when Cavani ran into those fans. It was really amazing. But that game that we drew, that just shows that we desperately need a center back instead of defensive mid, like especially a center back. When we talk about our defense is bad, that game proves it. I think our priority in this summer should not be Harry Kane, and should be Jadon Sancho if you're not going to spend any of the other positions. I think if you want to spend money and you want the fans to back you against Glazers, I think you should first get CDM and center back. Then we're gonna talk about what's gonna happen, because I don't think right mid is that bad, because we've got already options up front. We've got Greenwood. I think could do a job for a season until we get a right winger. I think Diallo's ready. I think Amad Diallo's ready for next season.
Hold on, Hamza. You just said Greenwood can do a job. I think he's a bit better than that. I think you need to give him a bit more respect for that 19-year-old fella.
No,
He's
no,
the
no,
same.
no, no, no. I'm saying the guy is exceptional. He's a generational talent. Like, he's a generational talent. But I think his position is a striker. But he still has to work on his heading more. But I think he could do like a good job when he's already a striker. He could do a job at right wing. But I think Diallo's ready. And I think Ole should give him more game time.
I agree with that. Yep, 100%. I agree with everything you said there, to be honest. I don't think we should be prioritising Harry Kane and spending our whole transfer budget on that. As you say, we do have cover up there. We've got Cavani who signed on again. Greenwood has shown this season that he can do a job there, as you say. Also, Martial's come back from injury. Who knows what's going to happen with him? I don't think it is as urgent as the other positions, like you say, a CDM and a centre back. I think they're a lot more urgent. And also a right winger. We haven't bought a right winger since Valencia.
Yeah, but last season I got friends who criticized me like I'm on the
Your headphones have died. Your headphones have died, like Luke Shaw's.
Yeah, now you
season.
can hear me.
Yeah, you're back. You're back.
Yeah. I don't know what happens. Anyway, so I got friends last season that I wanted Jadon Sancho for 120 million last season because our defense, we got a lot of clean sheets. Like we were top 5 in clean sheets last season, and I thought like if you get a world class player up front alongside Bruno, Rashford, Martial, players like that, I think he would have played exception. But this season, the defense has completely collapsed. I felt that the defense was going to collapse because of the partnership of Lindelof and Maguire. I thought we got lucky last season of the clean sheets that we got. I think the higher we played and the more attacker we played, it shadowed the defense. It shadowed how bad we were, especially in that Roma game. We defended badly, but the world class play by Cavani, Pogba, Bruno, I think was good. So for me, if you don't want one expensive, if you want a marquee signing, I think you should get Varane because he's already a marquee signing. Won a World Cup, for Champions Leagues, La Liga titles. So I think if you want a marquee signing like Sancho, Varane is the one. And if you don't have enough money to spend more, spend on Bissouma. Bissouma has been top this season. If you don't have the money for a Declan Rice or you don't have the money for anybody else, I think that Bissouma would do a definite better job than what we have. But I'm not gonna criticize McFred today. They were decent, didn't play that bad, to be honest.
I've got to say, and on my watch along, I said it. There was a moment in the first half, and it seems all the best moments happened in the first half, where Scott McTominay dropped very deep in between the two centre backs and cleared the ball, and I was very impressed with that. I haven't had too much good things to say about Scott. I think overall he's been quite average. He maybe does have the potential there, but I seen that moment in there. But Hamza, let me say something to you. Somebody in the background here has a question for you. You happy enough to have a chat? You hear me?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Let me check. What happened to Ollie today?
No.
Oh.
Hold on. I'm going to bring the main man, Romeo Daly Jr., in the building. A formidable opponent for you here, Hamza, but apparently he's got a question for you. Happy enough?
Fine, man.
Bring it on! Ding, 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 ding. Romeo, you're in the building. What do you got to say?
I didn't want to interrupt him. I just asked him a question.
Okay. We're listening.
1 point in 1 point from 9. What happened to Ollie?
Well, mate, if you weren't following up with the schedule that we had last week, I think it was impossible to get 3 wins out of three games in a week. So I don't think that was possible. Even Guardiola would have done it. And I think today our defense was crap, and that's why we need a centre back and a CDM. If you heard me a few minutes ago, so I don't think you should criticize the manager who got us second place, and who's in Europa League final, and we all of us thought he was gonna get out of the top four. So if you're gonna criticize Ole, uh, I shouldn't. I think you should put your anger to the Glazers instead of Ole, because they were the one who appointed him.
Okay.
Fair enough.
He
Yeah,
also
fair enough. You've had your say.
he said something about your mum as well. didn't he?
God,
Come on, we want to fight in here, make things interesting. Rich is
I'm
in the
not gonna
background
get
there,
into-
and he's
I'm
still
not
eating
gonna get
his
into
popcorn, the never-ending bag of popcorn that he
No,
had
we
last
want
week.
the popcorn. We want the popcorn of Verbs. I'm waiting
Well,
for
I'm,
Verbs
I'm
for a
not
very
gonna
long
get it.
time.
I'm not gonna get into it with him this week.
Who?
I'm not gonna get into an argument with Hamza this week.
Oh, so you want to agree with him?
No, I'm not. But I'm not gonna argue with him.
Okay.
Yeah,
Hamza looks as confused as I. Anyway, Hamza, thanks for your call in. Come in again. KZ will be back on Sunday.
it was
All
good to have you on, man, for the last few episodes. It was great.
Yes, well, I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it. And again, as I said, we want to get people on. This isn't about me. It's not about KG, although it is mostly about KG. Let's be honest. He's very funny, very entertaining person. But he'll be back, and at least we've give you guys your platform. We'll have a chat. Where else will you be doing?
Yeah, can I raise a point before we go?
Yes, certainly, Hamza. Go ahead.
So people said like I put in the comments of a post that I made. People said like he was in Molda, didn't want anything, got Cardiff relegated, this and that, whatever. We got one of the best managers in the world a couple of years ago, Jose Mourinho. The guy got a second, yeah, because he had a good transfer window of Zlatan, Pogba, Mkhitaryan, this and that. But the guy completely fell off with a decent team that could get top four in that time. I don't think he had a bad team. I agree that he wasn't backed in the second summer, and I agree that he should have had a centre back. Yet he had a good enough team to get top four, unlike Ole, who in both seasons we didn't predict he was gonna get top four. So I think we should give the man a transfer window and time, and release the pressure off him, and give it and put the pressure on the Glazers.
These sound like fighting words, Hamza. Ollie or Ollie. I just called you Ollie. Sorry, Romeo. Don't come and fight me. You're not Ollie. What do you got to say about Ollie, Hamza?
I do not want to bite back. I do not.
What's going on here? Well, you're supposed to come on. Even make something up. Tell Ollie that he's got a smelly face or something. Come on, Hamza. Romeo, I'm gonna have to bring you back on again. You got to have something to say about Ollie. You've been
But I don't
very
want to bite back at Hamza. I'll come on.
No. I
alone.
just want to see the point because
okay.
you've said in a few streams ago, you said
So
that
confused.
he wasn't one of the great managers to bring in Manchester United, and you criticize him because you thought he should have won the league. When you criticizing the back four that we have, and we don't have a bench to win us the league, so I don't understand your frustration on other, and I don't see your frustration on the Glazers.
Because what I saw today proves that he will never win anything major with this at this football club.
For fuck's sake. Yeah.
Well, guys, it was absolutely knockout wonder stuff there. Apologies to everybody in the background for all the shouting, screaming, and swearing. But Hamza, thanks for coming on again. Come on the next show
Yeah,
again.
if
KG
you're
will
gonna
be back.
if you're gonna get Fruits on, please, I want to fight back from what happened last time because
Oh, hold
I
on. Hamza, right? Ferbs is driving. He's just dropped out of the studio a wee bit. He will be back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring you off. I'm going to let Romeo come on say what he's got to say without any added pressure and stuff. So we'll fire you on into the background. When Ferbs comes back on, I'll give him his say, and then when you're ready, we'll bring you on, and then
All
let's get
right,
it
mate.
on. Hamza, great call.
You
Oh, sorry, hold
United
on.
Fan TV, shout out.
Definitely coming back on. Main man. Thanks, Hamza. Now, Romeo, what did you do today?
I deep, as what I said before, what I saw today proves that he will never win anything major at this football club for me. Because what I saw today, it have been seen it from the game one to now. We basically played the same way every game, which is we go in with McFred and a back six basically, and he waits for individual brilliance to win games. And we saw a moment of individual brilliance today, and unfortunately for us and the manager, we didn't see any more, and therefore we drew the game.
Is it you've got you keep this smoke here? You keep this for after Hamza leaves? You didn't
I
want to
just
verse him?
didn't. No, I didn't want to verse him this week.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Yes, I appreciate that. What do you think about the game today? Are you really disappointed, or do you think it was just a dead game anyway? Or how do you feel?
I'm disappointed because again we let Chelsea bail us out. If Chelsea didn't win today, second could have been in jeopardy. We could have lost second if Chelsea didn't bail us out. Same way how Chelsea prevented City from winning the treble.
Yep. It does feel. It feels a little bit, and for me, on a personal level, I have some family members that support that stupid, smelly, stinky club. So to see them happy about football things, it makes me deep down unhappy. But at the same time, I'm happy that potentially now we may be able to play a weaker squad on Sunday against Wolves because everything's done and dusted, and maybe go a bit stronger in the final. What do you
But
think about that?
doesn't our form worry you about the final then?
It does, but my opinion on that is potentially they're very overplayed. We were one of the last teams to start the season this year. We've had very little breaks, less than most of the other clubs, given the COVID stuff. So potentially they do just need now just 8 days is it now before the final. Rest everybody on Sunday, give them a break, get them G'd up, let them prepare for Wednesday. We're playing Villarreal. We don't play them very often, so let them, do their research on their opposite numbers. Let them prepare and let them just forget about Sunday. It doesn't really mean anything. Let the message be on Sunday. Glazers out, as I always say, but just give them potentially the reason that the performances are sliding as they are is the games aren't as important as they have been in the past, where they're able to g themselves up and be more prepared and mentally ready for the games. So give them a bit of a break, and then let them this there's only one game the rest of the season that really means something. So let them perform for it, give them a break. They're probably overplayed, and some of them, the likes of Victor Lindelof, the likes of Marcus Rashford, are clearly nursing injuries. They're probably even getting injections before every game, and just because they have to play at some point. So give them a break. So in that way, I'm happy the way things have played out tonight, even though it wasn't us that did it. But give them a break and get them in on the final. I think the steep decline in our form and also then our results is a lot to do with the strange season that we've had. And if anybody's listened to me for any length of time, I'm not just positive for no reason. If I see something positive, I'll mention it. If I see something negative, I'll go in on it. But I do think there's a lot to be said for the players that a lot of them have been vastly overplayed, and this is a very strange season. If you look at the rest of the leagues, PSG potentially not winning their league, Juventus, what's happening with them, the big clubs during the COVID year, there's so many big clubs that aren't doing what they normally do and absolutely destroying their leagues, and it's got something to do with what's going on. So I think you've got to say fair play to them. Have your break, come back. But if you don't win the final, then Romeo, you come on here and you say whatever you want to say about whoever you want to say. I'll be
But
right there with you.
This run reminds me of last season when he played the same level for like 6, 7, 8 games in a row, and then in the semi-final we totally burnt out and we lost. That's what I'm worried about for the final, because he's burnt out these players second time, which
Do,
proves that he's not learned anything. But
do you blame Ollie for that, or do you blame the general leadership with things in terms of the squad size, the lack of true quality once you scratch past the first 14, 15 players that Ollie relies on?
last year I didn't really blame him because he didn't have a choice really. But this season you can, because we've played more games and he's had Twanzebe, he's had Van de Beek, he's had Tay. So I think he could have rotated more. And I think if he did, I won't be worrying about being burnt out because the players would have kept fresh. And probably like players like Van de Beek and Twanzebe would have played better and Tays because they would have had more minutes. And when they play, they don't look rusty.
That's a fantastic point. He hasn't rotated the squad as well as we hoped he would. Like you say, Twanzebe and Donny van der Beek. That's possibly the main thing. Even the most, the most fervent, the most defensive people for Ollie that always got his back no matter what they do. If they've got one bad thing to say about him, it will be his treatment of Donny van der Beek and the fact that he has played like the substitutions that he's making when he's coming on, and he's coming on in the
He
89th minute.
brought on Ahmad in the 82nd minute and then brought on Donny in the 86th, 87th.
I knew that. I was waiting for somebody to bring this up. Yep, I noticed that. That's crazy. Is that a message? Do you think that's a message to Donny, or do you think it's just he doesn't think about it that deeply in terms of maybe offending him that much? He just that was the game plan from the
I
start.
honestly thought he was trying to waste time. Because why you bring on Ahmad in the 82nd and then bring on Van de Beek in the 87th?
I didn't consider that. No. That is a very good point, Romeo, because the second half we looked tired. We didn't look like we were trying to win that game. It just looked like
Just like we're trying to just get by.
yeah. The Fulham in the second half looked to me like the better team. Like this is a team that's been relegated. They've nothing to play for. They've less to play for than us because even at the time we weren't confirmed second. We are now, but they had literally nothing to play for. And to be fair, they probably didn't play as many games as us and as many games in as many days. But you've also got to consider, Romeo, the hangover of last week, the amount of games played all close together. It is going to have an effect on them. But then you've got to say, Ollie, what's these substitutions about? Why are you not rotating enough?
If
Like
I saw a difference from last week to the rest of the season, I wouldn't have a problem. But the thing is, what I saw against Fulham today and Liverpool and even Leicester to a certain extent, it's been happening in the entire season. So I can't really say it's a one-off because it's been happening whole season.
I've got to agree. Romeo, great call as always. Stay in the background. I know you're always good for a little bit of a debate if anything comes up. Thanks for calling in.
Well, thanks for having me.
Peace. Okay. So let me see. There's a name in here, and I don't think he's a brand new caller, but we don't hear from him too often. He's got a similar name as to somebody who comes onto my watch alongs. I wonder if it's the same person, whether he's going to put his hand up. But Santiago, what did you do, bro?
How's it going, man? Yeah, it's the same guy. But yeah, usually
inside.
yeah, usually working, so can't always call in. But so one thing I noticed is, sometimes we talked about those substitutions in the 84th minute, 86th minute with Ahmad and Donny. Now, I understand that's not necessarily a good look on Ollie, but I like to kind of think about it. We saw a tale of two halves, but we saw a tale of two halves with our pivot. And I think that might be Ollie's way of maybe sending some subtle messages to other people at the club. So we saw McTominay actually playing forward passes, pretty much for the first time since the Leeds game. Then around halftime, he brought on Rashford. Put Pogba in the middle and had Fred with him there. So it was one of those where we saw the strengths of both of those two midfielders and kind of showing a little bit about why we need a true CDM or why we need some reinforcements there. That's kind of how I saw it. After the first half, I felt like, we just kind of let that foot off the pedal there. And we kind of realized that at this point in time, even if we draw both games, we're still going to get top two. So it's really not that huge of a deal. That's kind of how I felt it. I don't know if maybe that might be how other folks maybe perceived it a little bit different. I would definitely rotate the squad against the Wolves. There's really no reason to play, our starting 11 unless we just want to get a little bit of extra practice in. But that seems kind of risky. You want to have everybody, fit for that Europa League final. I don't know what your thoughts on that might be.
Do you not think maybe on what you're saying there, do you not think maybe he should be making substitutions earlier and using the players that haven't played so much and resting the players that we know for sure is definitely going to play in the final, and not making them play 90 minutes today? Like, even for example, I can't remember now, did Bruno come off? Why didn't he put Donny on for Bruno? It's not going to have a giant change in the game as we've seen it ended 1 each. Bruno again, we've seen the statistics actually come up on the live. Sky Sports brought them up about Bruno, and I think it was just referring to the Premier League. But with Bruno, the stats were was it most goals? I don't know. It was most goals. It was most assists, most chances created, most appearances, and then you're realizing, Bruno plays every game, basically every minute of every game, and he's still pulling off little wonder strokes here and there during the game, but he's still very good. But by his own standards, he's not as good as he was at the start of the season. And it's like I said before, these players have been overplayed to the point where Harry Maguire, who was just on, did he break the record, or was he just on the verge of breaking that record?
I think he just broke the record.
Yeah, to the point where he's record breaking, plays that much, and he ends up getting injured for the most important games of the season. Really, I think the biggest thing you can say about Ollie is the substitutions are very questionable, and today was an example of where he could have made substitutions just to really help on these circumstances. But we'll go a wee bit off because we're going a wee bit tough on Ollie. I think maybe after the final, if things don't go too well, maybe that's sort of the time to talk about him. But tell me this: what do you think about the Kane situation? Would you go for him or would you not?
I wouldn't personally. Brilliant player. Any other year, absolutely. This year, I just don't think that unless the Glazers are actually trying to make amends and sign somebody like Van der Sar and are actually showing some, signs of wanting to change, that I don't think they're going to have splash the cash. So I would say your focus has got to be a CDM. It doesn't have to be Declan Rice. It could be Basuma. It could be somebody like Tonali. Somebody ideally, if we have like dream scenarios, I would say Kimmich, but that's not going to happen.
That's a name out of the hat there. I haven't heard anybody say about that. That
would play CDM and right back. It's a good fit.
You've blown my mind a wee bit there. It's never going to happen, but that's a very good call. And also he's got great leadership, lots of experience. We seem to be lacking a bit of leadership. Great shout. So if you had to pick one position, so forget about Kane then, what do you think is the most important position that we need to fulfill? Because you obviously don't think it's striker.
I'm torn between center back and CDM. I would more likely say CDM, because you could have, last year we looked okay. We looked pretty solid whenever Matic was still playing in the team, and he was still doing really well. It looked okay in the back. It wasn't so glaringly obvious that we needed something there. It wasn't until this season that we started playing just constantly McFred that we started to see a little bit more on that. We didn't necessarily see the ball progression move as much.
Okay, and finally, before we move on, bring somebody else on. Last question I'll ask you is, who was your man of the match today?
It to me, it has to be Cavani.
It's hard not to. It's hard,
Yeah,
that gold. Oof.
I think that's going to be on top 10 ESPN.
Yeah, fantastic goal, but not just the goal. I think his his demeanor around the pitch, you can see that he's lifted everybody around the club. It's a great shot. I don't think there's really anybody else you could say apart from my main man Victor Lindelof. Anyway, Santiago, great call. Come on next time. I know you said you work a lot of it, but the season's nearly over, so you got to come on next time. Thanks for calling, bro.
Absolutely.
And KG will, again, folks. KG will be back on Sunday. Santiago, great call.
Shout out to UTD Fan TV.
Good man. Good man.
Cheers.
Nice. Right. Who's up next? So fun. This person has and I would love to see where they got it from. This person has been given an award, and that's why their name is as such. This is, and everybody, put your hands together. Be prepared, because this is, in fact, the biggest Man United fan in the whole entire world. What do you got to say? What did you do?
Nothing, just nothing. Well, except for Cavani goal, it was class. Magnificent in front of the stadium, and the fans were happy for it. Well, Maguire did enough, although Maguire was talking to himself about how Lindelof and they defend that goal. So, anyway, I thought the goal was offside by the time I look at it. And then they said it was on. So, I was saying, alright, that is offside. We win the game. Then they say a goal. I was fuming. I had to throw it on the TV, mash up everything in the house.
So you're saying the Fulham goal, you think it was offside?
Yes, I think it was offside.
It did look a wee bit at times. But
Yeah.
tell me this as well. Another bit of a contentious one. Do you think, did Bruno touch that ball on the way through for our goal?
No, he didn't touch it.
He didn't touch it. So that means
Nope.
that goal was offside?
No, he wasn't offside.
Well, if he didn't touch it, that means the assist was from David De Gea. And at the
Yep.
time David De Gea released the ball from his foot,
Mhm.
Cavani was offside.
He
No.
wasn't offside.
For what reason?
Like, he was in outside position and then come back from the outside position that he was in.
Okay. Well, fair enough. We're all entitled to our opinions then, I suppose.
Yep.
Okay. Well, at least then, by your books, then David De Gea got an assist in potentially what some people are saying might be his last appearance. What do you think about that?
Well, I want to see Henderson go because he's worthless. Because the 3 goals he gave up against Liverpool, the third goal, he should come out earlier when Salah was through. Like, well, I heard rumors that he was going to Roma. Well, and I heard that Ben Foster was coming to the club. So you will maybe get number 1, or Henderson will get number 1. So anything goes.
Okay, cool. Tell me this, and before we move on, we'll get somebody else on here. Who was your man of the match today?
Cavani, because of the goal.
I think everybody's going to be saying those sort of things. Do you think as well, not just the goal, even though that was world class, and we'll probably see that goal over and over again. Is there anything else about his performance today do you think made him stand out?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cheers.
Yeah.
Thanks for calling in.
Yep.
Next one. Cage. Sorry, somebody in the background there. Thanks for calling in. Call in again on Sunday for the last game. KG will be back on that one.
Show United Fan TV.
Great call. Biggest Man United fan. Also, let us know in the comments there where you got the award and where anybody else can get it. Thanks for calling. Anyway, I'm hearing there's a bit of drama in the background here, but before we get into it, like the video, subscribe. As I've just said, KG will be back on Sunday, so you won't have to listen to my nonsense rambling anymore and my terrible sound effects. He will be back with the machine. He's got a job. He's working. He's acting. He doesn't come to your job. Nope. He doesn't come in and knock the door and go, well, it's not good enough for you. No, I'm expecting more from you, big son. No. Now, there's some drama going on in the background I'm being informed of. And it's been sparked by the conversation of Dean Henderson and David De Gea. I have a person here that wants Dean Henderson out. And I don't mean sold, wants him to go on loan. But I have another person here that wants him to stay. First, we'll bring on Pogboom Army. Pogboom, what did you do? And let us know your Dean Henderson opinion.
Before I do that, mate, let me put you on spot. Can I have an all right from you? We've all been missing KG, so let us all have an all right from you. Let's go.
Good call, Pogboom. Hamza, what do you got to say about David De Gea?
Okay.
I'm only joking. Right. Okay, you put me on the spot a bit there. I've just gathering a bit of time. I've got a sore throat. I've been talking for like 4 hours, but I'll do it. Okay. All right. How was that?
There you go. That was wonderful.
Thoroughly disappointing. Yep. You're just reminding everybody.
Mildly disappointing.
I do have a sore throat. You're just reminding everybody that this is wholly average compared to what KG does. But anyway, what did you do today, bro?
Perfect. So, a couple of pointers I wanted to discuss. First, obviously, De Gea way better than Henderson. Not to say that Henderson is not good. He's someone who's developing, definitely has the talent, but he needs time out there, right? Like any other player, we talk about Van der Beek almost every call. What good players need is not time on the bench, but they need to be played. So send him on loan where he can play, he can hone his talent and get him back when he's probably equal at the level of De Gea, because right now there is no comparison. Point number one. Point number two, I've been sitting on fence for long regarding Ole. I'm not really sure if I'm Ole in or Ole out. Probably on the side of Ole in, but off late I've been seeing the substitutes not being on point. I mean, not playing Van der Beek, and then I've been seeing strange things, and I'm not really sure where we're going with the team. We don't have tactics, we don't have proper formation. Obviously, we don't have players to play at the right positions. But then, is he doing enough? Is he getting the best out of the players? I'm not really sure that he is. If you look at performances of players like Rashford, players like even Pogba, for that matter's sake, are we able to get, or are we able to extract the 100% from these players? I don't think we are, and that is what managers like Klopp and Pep Guardiola do. They get the maximum out of the players.
Do you think, Pogba, do you think it's not that he's not getting enough out of the players? Do you think it could potentially be, and we've already touched it on the show already, do you think it could potentially be his man management, his squad management, his rotation, his substitutions have led to them being really badly burnt out and overplayed this year, and that's what is resulting in poor performances and playing with injuries like we see, as I've already mentioned. Lindelof is rumoured to have a back injury. Rashford is a bag of injuries and has been injured ever since Liverpool last year. Do you think maybe that's what it is? That's more of a bigger effect than he just can't get enough out of the players, or is he expecting too much of his favourite players and leaving the less, the likes of Donny, Van der Beek and Twanzebe? Is he biting himself? Is it coming back to bite him, the fact that he has clear favourites and he's not using those players?
Good question. So let me put it this way, right? I feel that any good manager has two different sides to them, right? One is obviously the man management skills. The other one is the football management skills, right? The on-field tactics, the changes that we see. I feel that he's a very good man manager, right? We've seen that he's given a lot of confidence to players like Rashford, players like Greenwood. And I would probably rate him an 8 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10. That could also be because of the season we've come out of, probably with Jose Mourinho. The players are not feeling confident. So that could have resulted because of that. The other half of it is where I actually have a problem with the football management bit of things. Could obviously be because we don't have the players, but somehow I feel that he tends to trust a couple of players more than he trusts the others, right? Rashford, for example, has not been playing very well. What is the reason to put him on the left, to put him on the middle when you know he's not fit, he's not been performing? When you have players like Van der Beek who can definitely do the job for you. I mean, that is what Rashford has been doing, right? He hasn't been performing, but he's just been there and, filling the squad, doing the minimum, bare minimum. That's something that anyone can do. Why don't you give chance to other players then? Right? We've seen Ponzebe in the squad today who's done decently well. He has gotten just a couple of chances today in the season. Could we have played him more? Definitely we could have. And in my opinion, if you were to take my opinion, I feel Ponzebe is a better partner to Harry Maguire than Lindelof is. One, because he's faster. Two, because we've all seen what Lindelof has done today. Pathetic. I mean, are you telling me you cannot push off a guy who's, doesn't even weigh as much as you do? He's nowhere close to what you are in physique, and you're not able to defend that guy. You just cannot be a defender for a top Premier League team. Forget Manchester United.
That was a good call right up until that last point. Pogba, I'm disappointed. No, hold on. I'll take off my Lindelof hat there. Is there anybody out there that has anything nice to say about Victor Lindelof? I think he's been so badly treated. I don't think he's the best centre back in the world. I think we could do better, and I don't particularly think that we're going to win anything with him and Maguire at the back. But I think he gets a lot of abuse for very little real reason.
So I have one question for you then. Who would you choose between Victor Lindelof and Harry Maguire?
No, that's not a very simple question. Because based on the backdrop of we have just spent 80 million on Maguire, he's never going to be dropped. He's been made.
No, I mean, let us forget the financial aspect of things aside. Let's just treat them on the performance.
Okay, so I think most people would agree that when you're talking about a centre back, you're talking about their partnership. So it depends who you're playing him with. For example, I want to see Bailly and Lindelof get a stretch together because I think the two of them match up very well. But if, say, for example, PK was still here, you had PK and Maguire at the back, they potentially are better as individuals than Bailly and Lindelof. But them two together wouldn't work as well. They don't complement each other as well. So basically what I'm saying is I think you really have to consider the partnership. Personally, I prefer Lindelof, and a lot of people are going to slobber at me. Probably a lot of people clicked off on this because he gets a lot of hatred. But I also think it's a very unfair question, Pug Boom. But I like to defend my man because I think a lot of people have a lot of terrible things. Not terrible, but it's an entertainment game. A lot of people have a very poor opinion on him, and again, he's not perfect. But there's aspects to his game that other centre backs don't have. If you look back a couple of weeks ago, that ball he played in for Rashford, and I think it was it Souness on Sky Sports said that that was just a complete blind hoof, and he got lucky. There's just little agendas like that I keep seeing, and I don't like seeing an agenda on a player for no reason. I think sometimes it can potentially be unfair, and that's why when I have negative things to say about Maguire, I always use the example of why I feel that way. For example, if he's being brought in and he's our captain, we have players out there at the club for similar amounts of time, potentially younger, but they look more like captains. Like not younger, but very more fresh into the club, and certainly not with any captain potential. or responsibilities. We seen very recently, and I mentioned it in the last show, Cavani coming to Greenwood's rescue, coming out there, getting into people's faces, showing some aggression, showing some leadership, grabbing people up. And the reason I think that's so important for us is we don't see it from Ollie. I mentioned it at the very start of the show. We seen him at the start in the first half. I think it was shortly after our goal. He was out down on the sidelines and he was shouting and screaming. And my main man Ferb's in the background there. The point he made, and he showed us in the car in the last show. I don't want to see Ollie for the whole 90 minutes sitting up in the stands with his legs crossed, just sitting there watching the game as if he has no responsibilities at all. It's like he's simming the game on FIFA. He's just simming the game. Yeah, I've prepared it all at the start. Hit sim. We'll see what happens at the end. We love seeing a manager, not somebody going crazy and just being stupid, but we seen it.
You'd love Klopp, wouldn't you?
Sorry?
You'd love Klopp to be the United manager, wouldn't you? With the kind of attitude he has.
You're very close to a sin bin for things like that. But I know what you mean. But I want to see. We've seen it before. We've seen it with the Lingard thing last season when he was down at the edge of the pitch and he was screaming at him, "You do that one more time and you're," curse word, "off." We love seeing things like that. And he was true to his word on that. It happened again. He brought him off. We've seen it today in the first half. He was out complaining about something. You seen him smile a wee bit, and then he started shouting again. And I do a bit of a watch along, another plug, UTD Fan TV, check it out. But during that, we made a point of saying that, and I said, yes, that's what I want to see. If he did that more often, so many people would jump off his back for other little things. But and people are saying, oh, it's all stuff in the background. You don't know what happens in the background. He's this ruthless, the baby-faced assassin. But that's not much use if you're trying to defend yourself, and it makes me wonder, why is he going to do this? That's the only two instances that I can remember. If you can remember any, let me know, or let me know in the comments. That's the only two instances we've seen him down on the sidelines, shouting out, giving orders, telling somebody do this, do that. So why is he doing it in these two instances? With the Lingard thing, what did he just lose his temper and go, I'm going down there and giving him a piece of my mind? Because is his tactic that I sit up here and I watch and my players have to do what I've told them? And it was that an occasion where he just lost his temper and that was a one-off? And then it happened again today, just happened to be after we went 1-0 up. Why is he down shouting? And the first game back with fans in the ground, is he coming out there to show off a bit? I don't know. It's conjecture. What do you think about that sort of position? Why do we only see it in those two circumstances and never ever again? And do you want to see more of that type of thing from Ollie?
For starters, definitely. I'd love to see Ole do more of that. And moving on to the second point, I, for one reason, feel that he doesn't quite do that with the players he loves, right? He would not do that with the likes of Rashford, Rashi and whatever. He would not do that with Greenwood, even if they go five games at a stretch without performing well. For players he doesn't like, if a VDB would not perform, even if he would be given 5 or 10 minutes, he would go out with them is the feeling that I get. And I'll tell you what, and I'll be very upfront with that. I feel with the kind of attitude he has and the kind of players he's been playing and the kind of support he's been showing to Blazers and supporting them even without transfers, I feel that he is going to get himself sacked in the next season. Not on the performance, but on the mere fact of selection of kind of players and not being backed by Blazers and supporting them. That is what is going to happen.
Do you think maybe his reluctance to play the likes of Donny van de Beek, do you think that's maybe a message towards the board, or obviously it doesn't really mean that much now that Woodward is apparently going, although I'll believe it when I do see it. I think that was maybe a bit of a stunt to get a bit of the get people off their backs. But do you think it's maybe a message on that side, or do you think which is what I think. I don't like to jump too much on Ollie about his treatment of Donny. I think it's too soon to do that. I think if this time, or maybe mid-season, sort of Christmas time next year, Donny again is being treated the same way, then Donny just has to go, and Ollie just clearly didn't want them. But do you think it's possible that he's maybe just given him a bit of time, like we've seen with Fred? Fred didn't play very much in the first season or so. Do you think that's the situation, or do you think maybe it's a message, or he just didn't want them and it was forced upon him because it was quite cheap as our marquee signing?
No, I do think that he's not someone who would, go against the Blazers and would try to make a point. He definitely wants VDB to settle down. But the question I have is, are you not taking way too long? Should you not have played him, a couple of matches more? He definitely could have done that, and that is the strangest thing that has been going in my mind as to why he's not been doing that. And
again,
I don't really know an answer to that.
him to back you up as well. The substitution, the times that he's bringing him on, he's getting 3 minutes here, maybe 10 minutes there,
Yeah.
at the very most 20 minutes. The only time he starts is a game that doesn't really matter, and he's playing with other players that don't get regular appearances. But what I will say as well, I'm being told in the background here, somebody, he's already been on, but he's got my back on a certain individual that you named at the start that you nearly got sin bin for. I'm going to bring him on. You happy to chat with him?
Perfect. Let's go.
Romeo's coming on. He's got to say something. Romeo, my guy, what do you got to say?
Yeah, I think people are a bit harsh on Lindelof because
Inside.
Yeah, to me, I don't see a major difference from him to Harry Maguire. Other than Maguire is more dominant in the air, but so even when he's supposed to be dominant in the air, he still doesn't win a lot of headers.
Right. So I'll quickly make my point, very clear. If I were to given, the role of a Manchester United manager, I would sack both Maguire and Lindelof together.
I would as
feel
well.
that. Yeah. So the question we have at the moment is, do we have a better option? And I feel that Harry Maguire is the only one who can, sort of maintain the formation of the team, who can probably, ask people to do this and do that. And Lindelof is not someone who would, be a captain material and would be able to hold the back line, to say so.
I'm almost sure 2 or 3 years ago, Lindelof was looking like a leader, and a lot of people were saying he should be the captain.
Mm-hmm.
He's still a leader. It's just that because Maguire is here, he has the captain's armband, so he's gonna be touted as the leader.
I'm not really sure I agree with you on that point. My point is very simple. If I had to pick today between Maguire and between Lindelof, I don't think Lindelof is I would not say that he's way far off than Harry Maguire, but Harry Maguire is definitely a better defender, and he's proven that in the Manchester United team. He's proven that in the England team. I mean, he's someone who can score goals. He's someone who can hold the defense together. Not a world-class defender, but definitely better than Lindelof, in my opinion. Yeah,
I don't agree on that one. I think Lindelof has been good before Maguire got here, but because Maguire is 80 million centre-back, it's on Maguire now.
Lindelof has been good. Why have we been performing poor as a defense in the last 3 or 4 matches that Maguire has not been there? Have you not felt that? Have you not missed Maguire? Have we not all been saying that we're missing Maguire?
I don't.
If Lindelof was that good, couldn't he have played? Couldn't he have led the defense? Couldn't he have played well with Tuanzebe?
But
Go on, sorry.
Were we that bad defensively today?
Well, you are giving away a goal to a side like Fulham. Are you going to tell me that we were good defensively? Definitely not.
I'm not saying we were that, but were we that horrible where we missed Maguire? Was it clear and obvious that we missed Harry Maguire?
Hold on. Break it up. Let's talk about the goal that we did concede.
Let's go for the second round, mate. Let's go for the second round.
Pogba, I've got the power here. Don't forget. Let's talk about the game. If we're talking about defensively, we conceded one. Let's talk about that goal. I don't think either centre back is at fault for that goal, and I don't think if Maguire was playing and I don't think he could have done anything. I think the fault for the goal was the two fullbacks. I don't think more so. Aaron
Wan-Bissaka.
Wan-Bissaka for not marking his man at the back post, and we've seen that time and time again. Luke Shaw potentially could have busted it, got a bit more to make sure that cross is stopped. Any defensive coach will tell you is the best defense for crosses and stuff is to stop it. You've got to stop it. He didn't seem to do enough to do that, and I don't think you can blame the two centre backs on that.
Yeah, I agree on that. How would Harry Maguire have bettered that issue? It's Wan-Bissaka's fault, and he has done that plenty times. And I think it's probably on Greenwood because he didn't really trap Brian. Wan-Bissaka didn't pick up anyone, and he's done that multiple times. Last week at Liverpool, Maguire wouldn't have fixed that problem because the first one was Jota. Wan-Bissaka again didn't pick up his man. The Firmino one, Maguire couldn't have stopped that, and the third was a goalkeeping error. So I don't think we've massively missed Maguire.
Okay, so a quick question to both of you. Going into the finals against Villarreal, would you be comfortable if we do not have Maguire and we had the same backline playing against Villarreal?
If we played Bayern Lindelof.
By Lindelof, yeah. Let's go with by Lindelof.
Yeah, I would be comfortable with them playing at the back.
You would be comfortable with by and Lindelof when you know that they haven't played as so. My mate here was talking about defenders or centre backs playing in partnerships. By and Lindelof.
With them individuals, I wouldn't have a problem. But the problem would be that because the manager hasn't played them a lot this season, so maybe the chemistry between them won't be there. But as individuals, I would be comfortable with them at the back.
But
maybe guys, we're missing a bit of a point here, and nobody's really discussed it today. Is our concentration on the centre backs, is that because they're not being protected? Is that because the people in front of them are leaving them open? Because it seems no matter what centre back pairing we play, we seem open.
That's
is it
another
because
problem.
McFay nowhere near good enough? Is it because Matic is at the hill?
That's another problem.
That is a part of the problem. That definitely is a part of the problem. And to some reason, when we were discussing Van der Beek, that we could probably relate that to the fact that we have to play two people in the pivot to protect the defense, right? And that is why I told you that I would probably not play either Lindelof or Harry Maguire if I had a good defender, if I had proper defenders. So next season, it therefore becomes a priority for us to look at someone who can play as a proper CDM, right? Someone like, say, an NDD, right? A party who can do the job single-handedly. When Matic was here in the last season, or the season before that, we did not need two players in the pivot. He was the one who was doing the job single-handedly, and that is someone we need for people like Pogba, Van der Beek, and Bruno to play in the team. And mind you, with strikers like Cavani coming into the team, you'll be deadly going forward. Just that we need some cushion going back. We need that cushion in the defense.
Even when McFred play, they don't really do the job that they're supposed to do. I don't think they protect the defense as well because positionally, intelligent-wise, they don't have it. They don't have that ability.
Well, I'd probably take the attributes from both of them together combined in one player. But if I need to have two players, the kind of attributes that they give, I would not have any one of them, to put it simply.
Do you think any of them could play the role on their own?
Either McTominay or Fred?
Yes.
Maybe for a championship team, definitely not in a Premier League side. No.
Because when I look at them, McTominay can't really tackle, and Fred, when he tackles, I think he goes in too much and gives away some stupid fouls. And none of them defensively, positionally, intelligence-wise, they're not good enough. So I don't see the point in really playing them if they don't do the job properly.
A funny thing, I was having a discussion with my mates the other day, right? And one of them asked me a question: would any of the Premier League team swap their CDMs for the two we have. And you really have to go down to the teams in the 16th, 17th, or 18th position to find a team that would take both of them, Fred and McTominay, in their side. That is the kind of situation that we are in.
Yeah, not good enough.
Okay, I guess, guys, I don't think there's any United fan really that's happy with the centre midfield partnership there, and I think that's possibly why the conversation really shouldn't be about Kane at the minute. It should be CDM first, potentially another CM and a centre back. But guys, what we'll do, if I can get both of your mans of the match today, and then we'll move on. There's something tasty going on in the background. We'll have to get these two chaps on. Apparently, there's a bit of beef going on in the background. We need to get it on. We'll start with you, Romeo. Who was your man of the match today?
Victor Lindelof.
Yeah! Inside! All right. The best caller, right? Pogba, don't even want to hear yours. Go ahead.
Wonderful. So for me, it has to be Cavani. The kind of strike. So for long, the number 7 Kudu that we've had, I think that with Cavani coming in, we've probably gotten a whole of things. A wonderful goal scored. So kudos to him, and we are in for a wonderful season. That if Cavani continues performing at the level he is, and just to add on to it, I'm giving Victor Lindelof a 3.5 out of 10.
3.5. How much is one Bissaka there?
Just pulling your leg, mate. Just pulling your leg.
You were about to get sin bin there. So it's unanimous. We all agree. Victor Lindelof, man of the match, best player of the season, 10 out of 10 today. Folks, thanks for calling in. Call back on Sunday. KG will be back. Thanks for calling in. Romeo, fantastic as always. Pogboom, I know you've been on before. Keep coming back. Your calls are always very much appreciated. And shout out to the tumble dryer / wash machine in the background. Inside. Now, let's hope we don't get struck down by a big case of the typhi, because one of these gentlemen are out in the wilderness. So let's hope he doesn't get dropped out. We'll bring my main man Ferbs on first. He's been in the background there for quite a while. Has been driving. That's why I haven't brought you on, Ferbs. But he's now parked up in a safe place, and he's been listening, and he's got opinions, and he's always a great caller. And there's also somebody in the background there that has something to say against it. But Ferbs will bring you on first. You have your say, and then let's get it on. Ferbs, how are you, my guy?
Respect, Bradley.
What did you deep today, Ferbs?
Disappointing. Ain't no way in the world we should be drawing with Fulham. They're already relegated, nothing to play for. Like you, I always take things into context. I do understand, it's been a busy schedule and all the rest of it. But at the end of the day, like I was explaining last time and every other time, when you strive for great things and you're trying to get back to where you used to be, or at least get back to something better than what we are now, that type of football is not inspiring. I'm sorry. Obviously, the first half was okay. The goal was good, but then after the goal, it just dropped off. And then I was listening to you guys just now talking about the back, the back two and the middle two in the center of the park, as far as our back four and our two defensive midfielders, right? And I heard you say the part about them not being protected enough. The one part I wanted to ask you a question about that, because we pretty much play with a back six and then a front four. We play with the back six and the two center defensive midfielders, I thought, because that was to protect them. So it sort of just becomes a complete conundrum with Ali altogether with that, because we play them to protect the other two people who we don't trust completely as a partnership. But then even overcompensating for them, we still conceding, we still look soft, we can't control the game, we can't dictate the game. It's like if we don't go behind, that's the only time we can play some type of football, when we go behind.
Tell me this, do you think the whole situation is resolved if you can put in a world-class leader at CDM? Say you bring in Fernandinho at his best, and you put him there in front of any two that we have at the minute. Do you not think immediately that improves everything? And then it also relieves another position where you can get somebody else further up the pitch.
Exactly. No, 100%. And I fuck with, excuse my language, I mess with a lot of what Romeo talks about. I ain't gonna lie to you today. I big time disagree with that part about Lindelof. I know you don't want to hear it, but when he called him a leader.
Verbs.
Don't sin be me. Don't sin be me.
Oh wait, no, yeah, right. I agree 100%. He's not a leader.
Look,
No,
so I'm saying Victor, for me, my personal opinion, his qualities is a good ball playing center back. That's one of his best qualities. He's probably our best one at that. But leader, no. A leader stands up and takes accountability, responsibility for any and everything. And I'm sorry to tell you, Romeo, I know you're probably still listening, but some of them girls that he has been at for, like, he has some good games. I'm never just got all negative for anybody. But when he does have a bad game, I mean, too soft, like too easily to push off the ball. Chances where you can clear it and he like pokes at it and then it comes back and then that's for me not a leader. A lot of things, but not a leader for sure.
Is the problem, Ferbs, that throughout our whole defense and even to a certain extent in the goalkeeping and our lower sort of the likes of McFred, there is no true leader there. Even Maguire, who is our captain, wears the armband every game he's playing. He's not a leader, in my opinion. We don't see it on the pitch, and we don't see it with Ollie on the side. Is what's happening now? Is it a lack of leadership? The only leadership we truly see on the pitch is Cavani and Bruno, and they're the other end of the pitch.
Exactly. No, you're 100% right with that, Bradley. 100% right, and that's massively what's going on. We lack leadership big time. Most times when you're doing really well in a season, it's because the spine of your team is pretty solid. And what I mean by that is goalkeeper, center back, center midfield, striker. Obviously, we play for 10, so you can add that in too. We have the striker and the number 10, center midfield, trash. Center back as a perm, trash. Ali with some of his decision makings, I ain't gonna say trash because no, they ain't all trash. But I just can't. I'm not gonna beat up on him, but I'm also at the same time I'm not gonna ease him up either because a lot of them decisions all still come down to him. Even like with Wan-Bissaka talking in like that. How many times that's happened this season? About 8 times now. I'm sorry to tell you, as our only probably real center right back to here, you gotta have a conversation with him. Like if you're gonna do that every time, I'm sorry, Tuanzebe might play a couple games at right back. Brandon Williams might get 5 games to see if he can shake the dust off. But you're not gonna keep talking in causing us goals every time because of that.
Do you think we need to invest on a different style of right back? Because I don't think Tuanzebe, I don't think long term he's going to be anyone to play in right back. I don't even think long term he's going to work out with Man United really.
When I said that, it was more so to give Wan-Bissaka a kick up the ass. Like, hey, I know you think you're never going to get dropped, but take 5 games on the side and catch yourself.
But long term, what do you think about Brandon Williams?
Long term, we might need to. I mean, I think Wan-Bissaka can get better over time. The sad part is we are sort of operating in that realm with too many positions where we need a little bit better. But I think in the grand scheme of things, I don't think his right back is as much of a priority as it is as center defensive midfield or center back, especially if they're going to get Jadon Sancho. If he gets somebody who's consistent playing in front of him and is a consistent person, is not a different person every other week, I think he'll get a little bit, like he's been getting better this season and then he has drop-offs, but I think he'll get better as a whole if he had a consistent person that also performs consistently also.
I think that's very fair to say. Aaron Wan-Bissaka hasn't had a consistent, as you say, a consistent partner on the right-hand side, and he also has played a lot of minutes, so you've got to maybe give him a bit of respect for that. He's probably exhausted and relatively speaking, he doesn't look tired like he's falling asleep on the pitch, but relatively speaking compared to the players he's coming up against,
but we could only assume, but his legs and his mentality has to be tight. It's been a long season.
Yes, you got to be fair on that, and we've seen it in the past. Actually, if we look back a couple of years ago, and I refer to this quite often with my friends and stuff, if we look back when at the season where it was Luke Shaw and Memphis Depay on the left-hand side, and they looked like world beaters. We were excellent down that hand.
Right up until Shaw broke his leg.
And then when that scumbag, I'll not say it, broke his leg.
Hurt my heart, man, because Shaw was on form.
That was the end of Memphis Depay's Man United career.
Shaw.
And it was only that partnership broke both players. So Memphis Depay was never the same since then. Luke Shaw took him a long time to recover, and he's only fully coming back to his best really now. So it would be amazing to see, give Wan-Bissaka a great partnership and give him some pressure behind him, and we'll see there. But again,
give him some consistency and some continuity so he can build upon that.
1,000,000%. But the problem that we have here, and today the goal that we conceded highlighted the fullbacks, but really that's not our main concern defensively. Although Wan-Bissaka does tend to play players on side,
Yes, he does.
Our centre backs, the partnership doesn't work. There's no leaders back there, so that should be the main thing that we need to work out.
Yeah.
Again, do you think with the lack of leaders, and so we're going to get on to the debate, it's unavoidable at the minute, David De Gea versus Dean Henderson. Now, I don't think anybody can really say Dean Henderson is a better goalkeeper than David De Gea. But is there an argument to say there that Dean Henderson is more of a leader? He's more vocal. He's more of an organizer of the defense, which is arguably, and I'm just playing devil's advocate here because I'm a complete David De Gea fanboy, but arguably you could say, do we need Dean Henderson more than we need David De Gea, given that there's no leader there to get everybody together, to shout at somebody that's not in the right position? If somebody's been playing the rest of the defense off, there's nobody there at the minute to to keep everybody go, you messed up there, next time this better not happen. Is Dean going to be more productive in that way?
In that particular sense that you asked, I think yes. The sad part is that as a community as a whole, and I don't mean just this community, I mean most of our United fan base, we're putting so much pressure on Dean Henderson as far as people was expecting him to fail in a Liverpool game before he even played the Liverpool game. And I understand the concept when people was like, well, he hasn't played against Liverpool with a crowd of 75,000. And I understand the concept, but what I'm saying is you're putting so much negative energy out there before you even got the chance to play it. Now, I'm a De Gea fan myself too. I don't like how they handled it. But as a whole, do I think Dean Henderson shows more leadership qualities? Yes, I do. Do I think he commands his box better? Yes, I do. Do I think he's going to make mistakes? Yes, he is. But it sort of looks like the club's sort of leaning more towards Dean. I will have no problem if David De Gea stays as the number one. As a whole, I remember one point in time in the game today, right? It was a ball that got played over the top, and it looked like the striker was going to get on it. This is for them, but Tuanzebe got there. But when the ball was being lobbed over the top, it looked like De Gea could have easily came and at least been ready to come. He was backing up to the goal, whereas Dean's can come up for that. Now he's going to have hit and miss, and most people will probably judge him based on that Liverpool game. Just like I was saying about Donny or anybody else, you got to give somebody a consistent run of games and then see what they're made of. So until he gets that, you can't fully judge him. But like I said, if it comes down to it, I'm a De Gea fan. And I don't like how they ousted him out when he went for the Bradford's child. I would have had a lot more respect for Oli if he would have just made that decision. Because if he's going to oust him like that, why not just oust Harry Maguire now and just leave that captain's armband with Bruno? But I'm pretty sure when Harry comes back, he's going to give it back, right? That's where his favoritism kicks in.
It's a very good point. Very good point, Ferbs. Now, there's somebody in the background, as I've already mentioned, that has something to say about your opinions there.
Yes.
And apparently he's got a lot more to say now after we've had our little discussion. Before we bring him on, we've got to shout out the queen of the show, one of the queens, Edna.
Edna in the house.
She's in the house. Says, anybody worried about the final and dreading it now? I'm not too panicked. I think the performances recently have been, although saying that, when you play against Liverpool, it doesn't matter the circumstances, you should be up for that game. Today there was not much to play for. I think as people tend to say, they've got one foot on the beach. Their mind isn't there. And I think if you give them a rest over the Wolves game and you give them the pressure that this is for some silverware, potentially your first ever silverware, the manager's first silverware at the club, as a manager, I'm not that worried. I think they will step it up there. It depends what he does on Sunday. What do you think about it, Ferbs?
So I definitely think it's possible for us to show up and play some better football than what we've been doing. But like Edna, I'm a little bit dreading it myself, because one thing I noticed I shouldn't say everybody, majority of the people seem to say that these games don't mean nothing, and when it comes to the final. But I'm someone who's actually played football before. Obviously, I'm watching for a long time, and I shouldn't say never. There's always a 50-50 chance, but if I'm being realistic, I think it's probably a 10% chance you can just flick a switch and show up and start playing better football. When the last 5 to 7 games, you've been just getting over the line. That's what we done last year in the semi-final. We started just getting over the line, and when it came to a game that we really needed to be in, we actually played better than we had been playing, where we was getting over the line. We didn't take our chances, and we got dumped out.
That's a fair point. It's you've put me in the bin there. If you made me think there, if we look at the semi-final performances where we're consistently getting dumped out when they're big games and you're expecting our biggest players to perform, it hasn't happened. So thanks very much, Ferbs. You've now I'm panicking.
Anyway, I don't want nobody to panic from it because I would like for everyone to have that positive energy out there. But I mean, we got to be realistic at the same time. That doesn't look good, to be honest, man. How many games now? 1 point out of 3, but we'll probably lost the last 4 out of 5 games.
Yeah, we've one
and then
draw.
we're gonna rotate again for the Wolves game. Then what? So that's another bad result. And people seem to think that even if it ain't the exact team, look at the team we put out today. Look how strong it was. If we're gonna do the rotating and resting, like I said, the game against who was it? Leicester. We'll leave the people off the pitch. Don't bring them. Don't bring Cavani on. Don't bring Bruno on. Don't bring. Rashford came on the last 3 games in a row, still notching the injury, but yet Rashford still being brought onto the pitch. Where the consensus is, the game's not really important. It doesn't really matter. We're not really playing for nothing, but yet we're gonna risk injuring one of our best players who hasn't looked like our best player for some months now.
Agreed. Great points, Ferbs. Now
I don't get it.
We'll bring.
But let's see what Hamza's got to say because I want to see.
Yep. Now, Hamza, let me bring you on. Hamza, before we get into this, before I ring the bell, what's your opinion then on Wednesday? Are you worried about it? Do you think the players are going to turn up? What do you think is going to
happen? So I'm a sportsman myself, and when I play something, I don't have something to play for. So you don't have that passion or something to play for other than that fans. I was disappointed today because there were fans in the crowd today that didn't witness the team to win, but I was happy for Edison. But I'm not worried. I think I'm worried. Of course, it's Unai Emery, it's Villarreal. Anything can happen, but I'm still confident for the team to get a result there.
But what about Hamza? What about this though? So you mentioned just now that we're going up against Unai Emery, right? Against Oli, Villarreal, against Manchester United. I'm just gonna be honest. I'm not the biggest Emery fan, but he's definitely a tactician. He sets out to play football. He's won the Europa League multiple times, so he's got the experience of doing it.
Hold
on one second. I just want to know what makes you so confident that the team's just gonna flick a switch and turn up, especially if you really consider it. All year, we haven't played one 90-minute game and played good football from start to finish and consistently just won a game where we biting our nails and came back from 2-0 to win 3-2. And then the last 12 minutes, what defending for our lives. And the team's got like 5 times they should have scored. But people, that doesn't fill me with confidence at all.
Okay, so going into that, I think the entire season we were a bit consistent. I should say we criticized the team for not being consistent for over the past few years, but I think this season we're consistent. Apart from the schedule that we had, I think that affected. Yeah, I think today was disappointing. Yeah, I don't think it could affect the final, but just going to the final, I think Harry Maguire's injury is gonna be effective, because talking about leaders here, I think Harry Maguire organizes the back four. Like when we seen from when he was injured, I don't feel like the back four are steady enough or brave enough to do anything. But talking about that, I Lindelof and Bay just, I don't know. Bay doesn't have full faith in Lindelof, and I don't think they work good as a partnership. To be honest, he has pace and he doesn't. But the problem is Lindelof is soft, as you said, Verbs. I don't think he work. I think the both who would work well would be Bay and Twanzebe. I think that would be a great center back partnership for the final. Yet,
that would be.
But seriously though, I think Maguire's injury would be. I think Maguire's injury would be huge, and just saying that, if I'm being honest, and most of United fans being honest, Would you all be surprised if we weren't in talks with Sergio Ramos and we got him in the last 3 days of the transfer window, like what happened to Edison Cavani? Like, like Sergio Ramos would be better than Lindelof as center back, but I don't think he's better long term, and he won't complement Maguire. But I'm just saying, don't be surprised of the incompetence of what would happen in the transfer window.
Mm,
Like they would say, "Oh, we got a marquee signing, Jadon Sancho,"
mm.
and probably they won't get a midfielder. Yet they find themselves in a very tough position, so they get a free player. So I'm expecting a bad transfer window, to be honest. I don't think it would be. I think it's going to be full of surprises, but I don't think it would be that good.
See, I have a bit of a question for both of you on the centre back debate.
Mm-hmm.
And I've said before, and I'll say it again. I don't think Lindelof is particularly good. I don't think he will win us anything. But what I will say is, when people say he's not the quickest and he's not the most weak, does that mean that you have to be both of those things to be a good Premier League centre back? Now, I've got two opinions on this. Daley Blind never really took the world by storm at Man United, but is that because he's a victim of a defender like that doesn't suit the Premier League? You've seen when he went back to Holland, what did he get? The semi-finals, Champions League. He's looked a million times a better player. Is it the case where Victor Lindelof is potentially would do a lot of better job, maybe get into another top team in a league which is less physically demanding, reliant on pace and also strength? And on that point as well, Harry Maguire has been shown on multiple occasions this season, most notably at Burnley, to, even though he has the physical stature, he's got the height, he hasn't always had that aggression to be the one to win that ball. What do you think?
No, go on, Fred.
If I go first, I would say when it comes to Maguire, he shows a little bit more leadership than Lindelof does. But as a whole, I don't think he's a leader either. I think he's been trying a little bit right before he got injured. He was trying a little bit harder. When decisions was going against us, he was starting to get it at the ref. But that's someone trying to pull it out of themselves as opposed to it being a natural thing. Now, I don't know if it was because they gave him the captain's armband too early and it shrunk his leadership qualities and now he's trying to bring him back out. That's for time to tell, and only time will be the judge of it. When it comes to Lindelof and Bailly, you can't never, like I've said multiple times, you can't really judge them because they haven't played together long enough to build up a relationship. They don't fill me with confidence because they're sort of similar. And Bailly and Maguire or Tuanzebe, I think you got to mix it up. You got to have a little bit of a height. But what you was asking, Bradley, when it comes to Maguire, he goes down too easy, man. You know how many times I'm seeing him try to like hold the ball too long and then he tries to turn the player and then he just tries to do that little drop and hopes the ref gives it to him. I can't stand that. A man that size? No, man. No, I can't stand that one, dude.
Sorry, I'm just gonna jump in there, but a lot we as United fans don't like focus a lot on the post matches or the press conferences of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and when he gets asked about Bay and Tuanzebe, you see him criticizing Bay more. Like he touched on that many times when he said like, yeah, Eric Bailly is fast, his pace. You can clearly see that he wants like when Eric Bailly plays or Tuanzebe plays, we play high line. Like we saw today in the first half that only McTominay was dropping back and Fred was a bit of box to box, more advanced, and fullbacks were coming forward. But what am I saying here is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer always criticizes Bailly of how he plays. He always says that he doesn't like his way of play. He said it loads of times, and that's why like you could understand him taking Bay off. But I think that if you're criticizing Bay more and you like Tuanzebe and like, oh, he's working hard, this and that, you should try him with Maguire. Listen, I'm only in, but I don't agree with the centre back partnership that he built. I think he should have started more with Axel Tuanzebe. I think he was misused, Axel Tuanzebe. The same as Donny van de Beek. I think they should have been given more game time. Yeah, I don't agree with people saying like that. Ole has mistreated the squad, or Tuanzebe and Van de Beek, debatable, but I think that he managed the squad pretty well. Listen, we gotta give credit to Ole for managing Harry Maguire, the incident that he had in Greece. Paul Pogba with what his agent came out before the Leipzig game.
Hamza,
And
would you mind if I cut in for a second?
yeah, sure.
So the thing with the Harry Maguire one first, right? I mean, I'm just trying to figure out when you say he managed it like good or well. I'm just trying to figure out what it was that he done, because I mean he just played him. He didn't drop him. He didn't. I don't know what it is outright that he done to say that we can say for sure he managed him well, because he never said nothing about it in public. I never even heard no rumor mills about what he might have done for him. And in the end, he just kept playing him. And not to, you can get hit if you want, but 1 second. The other one with Pogba, I've heard a lot of people say that, and I'll give him credit for like things like Shaw, Martial last year, putting his arm around those type of players. They're not the type of players that take criticism well. They need the arm around the shoulder and to pat their back and build them up, which why Shaw came leaps and bounds. Martial, he didn't reciprocate it this year. But for Maguire, I can't agree. Pogba, I think, is even worse, because people keep saying that, right? What was Ali supposed to do? If you look at it, anytime Pogba's been available, he just throws him in the team. He made that left field position for him just to get him in the team. And has it worked out in the end? Yes, and I'm happier for it. But if you look at him the last couple of games, it looked like he's not even interested in playing. Then on top of that, right? You can go after this, sir. But the whole thing with Pogba, his agent talked so much smack. All he did was just play in the next game, and you can rewind that right back to the beginning of the season. Pogba had COVID. The only signing we made all year was Donny van der Beek, right? Let me tell you something about Bo. Or anything in life, when things are negative or so, as they call it, salted up, you have to freshen up the place, right? Pogba was just come back from injury and he had COVID. The only thing positive about Manchester United was Donny van der Beek. Donny van der Beek still can't touch the pitch now. And guess what? He came on the first game, scored. And you think he'll say, all right, well, let me just freshen up next game and let Pogba catch himself. No. So I don't agree with that, because every chance is here, he just plays Pogba. How is that managing?
No,
just because he's a star player, you just throw him in? No. Sir Alex Ferguson, and I'm not comparing Ollie to him, please don't think I am. But Sir Alex would have been back at Juve before he could have spelled his agent's name.
Yeah, come,
yeah,
just
yeah.
Hamza,
I
Hamza, before you go,
I gotta
before
agree
you
with
go,
the Van de Beek.
Hamza. Keep your thought before we go. No, we haven't discussed Pogba at all during this whole show, and I haven't heard anybody else really talk about him. I thought today he was quite atrocious. I think he gets people like don't want to talk about him because we get the Pogba FC fans coming at them.
I think Luke Shaw as well was bad today.
Luke Shaw has actually been a little bit shaky the last 3 games, to be honest with you.
I think Luke Shaw has more of an excuse where he's been overplayed.
Yeah, he's had a long season.
He's been overplayed more. Pogba, again, you can say he's maybe not playing in his perfect position, but I don't see any drive, any passion, like you're saying, Ferbs. I don't see anything, and I think today he was very, very poor. And I think he's not. There's not enough people mentioning. We don't want to say. You could easily say he's our most talented player, but we don't see it out on the pitch.
I love Pogba, right? But I'm not one of them people who's blind to that. I'm never gonna just say because I know what he can produce on his day. Besides the point, you got to produce it and produce it all the time. And that's been his biggest criticism his whole time at United. He's one of the best midfielders in the world, but has not been consistent with it. And on days like today, I saw him receiving the ball on that left channel, and sometimes I'm saying, you gotta do a little bit more.
Performances.
Lost that ball like that?
I'm gonna jump in right here because, I think performances like that and in like the 68th minute, I think Pogba should have been off for Van de Beek. I don't agree with I don't think Ole has the experience of rotating a lot. I think he's I think you don't agree, but I'm gonna say
making my points for me. Just wonder.
He's been in the game, Hamza. Don't make that excuse.
I agree with your point, Van de Beek has had loads of opportunities in the beginning of the season, and I think
loads of opportunities. I don't like to call people off, but you said loads just now. Come on, Hamza, think about it before you say it. I'll give you a chance to re-say that. Loads of opportunities, Donny van der Beek.
All right.
3 minutes. 3 minutes here, 5 minutes there.
He
1
almost
second,
had
I'm
the
ready.
sin bin him for that.
I'm ready. So I think so. What you touched on when Pogba's COVID and injury, I think Van de Beek should have been used more. I think that was the chance for Van de Beek to get the spark in the team and go on and replace the McFred.
Right, but you know what he done? He done the absolute opposite. He put his fire out before he could even get going. And then,
Yeah.
right, most of the United fan base seem to think, and I understand it to one side. I always have multiple sides to me, right? I understand that when someone's given an opportunity, you want them to grasp it with both hands and run. But if you're being
No,
realistic,
he's not
if
gonna
you
do
don't
that
play on that
from the
pitch,
first
your legs don't
performance.
move the same. Your breath don't breathe the same. You don't pass the same. You need a
Yeah.
consistent run of games, 5 to 8 games.
Yeah.
Really, you need the whole season, but 5 or 8 games. Then, if someone wants to say, "Oh well, I think it's a little overrated," at least I can say, "Well, we're not
I
judging more."
think we should get in Axel Tuanzebe as well because Lindelof has been injured because Lindelof has had back problems for most of the season,
Yes.
and Ole even said that, but yet he didn't
Besides the
use.
game against Istanbul, every time Tuanzebe has played, he's looked amazing.
Yeah,
The
but
Istanbul one
I think
with
that made
Bekamba, that was a nightmare. But outside of that,
yeah,
amazing.
but what made Ole a bit shaky about Tuanzebe? I don't know. I don't know honestly because Axel
You said it
Tuanzebe has
earlier,
been
Hamza. You
amazing.
said it. He ain't got no experience in it. You said it earlier. I hope you help.
No, I'm
No, you was
saying.
right. He don't, which is why he don't rotate him, which is why he don't have trust in him because he didn't instill trust. He didn't
So
set him up for
talking
success.
about not trusting or not having enough experience. What do you
No,
think is
I
going
think
to
they both
happen to
sort of go
Garner?
hand in hand. To be honest with you,
What do you think is going to happen to Garner next season? Because from the looks of it, I don't think he's going out on loan, which is bad for his development.
if they're not gonna give him a shot, if they ain't gonna really give him a real shot, which means obviously that means we ain't getting no CDM. So he's got to go and learn at least one more season, at least.
What do you think of the
Right.
glimpses today of McTominay?
Today, you said?
Hmm?
I think he played a little bit
I thought
better
he
than
was
Burnley
solid.
because he had some more room in the midfield. Normally, when he gets a little bit of room, he can actually show some of his better qualities. But overall, still not good enough.
No, because for the whole season, we all criticized him every single game apart from the Leeds game that he scored 2 goals in the first 3 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
But I think today he was solid as a center defensive mid. I think he was solid.
Yeah, that's why I said he was playing okay today. But the sad part is when your team isn't playing like really controlling and attacking football. So what I mean is, right, a lot of times, and this is why I really don't have a lot of faith in Oli, because it's such a simple thing to teach. When you pass the ball, you move. You create angles, you create triangles, right? And when you constantly do that all game, it kills the other team. Is it always gonna work? No, but we just seem like it's always pass, pray for individual brilliance, pass, hope something comes off, hope the Hollywood works. No, you should be able to dictate a game, get on that ball, pass, move, work for your team, protect your brethren, cover the space, cover your man. I'm talking about basic football right now. And if we done that with the type of players we have, I think we will play a lot better football. But Ollie just don't seem to have it in them. It's like, go out there, guys, enjoy yourself, show me what you got.
I'm all in, right? I criticize a lot of his rotation, as I said today, about Van de Beek, Tuanzebe, this and that. But yet, I think he's the man to take us forward. I think we don't agree with what we're gonna have to every time, every manager that we have, we're gonna not have to agree about something. But I think that he's the man to push the squad forward.
So let me ask you this: so two things? It's sort of the same thing, but it's sort of twofold question. Do you think we really would have finished second had this been like a somewhat more of a normal season? Fans.
He said himself, "We don't want to be here." I think his only chance that he would prove himself is when he gets a good transfer window.
But we can't bank on that with the board that we have. That's why I'm more focused on what I see every day, as opposed to people saying like, well, if he does this, or if he does that, or if we win the Europa League.
But with the
That's
current
why I don't say it like that.
with the current squad, when we criticize like the two center backs and center mids that we have, don't you think he's done a good job?
Yes and no, because if you also keep in mind that same centre back pair was there last year. I think we had the second best defense in the league.
Right,
Even if you wasn't super excited about it.
Verbs.
I think we're gonna wrap it up here.
Hamza, we got to wrap it up. We're over 2 hours here.
Okay,
But
yes.
just looked at the time there. It's crazy. Verbs, fantastic call as always. Thank you very much.
Hamza, I'm glad you finally got your little chance to go with me. I didn't get to hear too much Ali debate, but I guess we can try it again next time.
Yep.
Yeah, next time with KG.
Call in on Sunday.
And Brett will be dropping bombs.
Boom.
Yeah.
Anyway, if there's somebody in the background here that has got something to say to my main man Hamza, Verbs, great call. Speak to you on Sunday, bro. Hamza, there's a chap in here who's got something to say to you. And folks, we're going to wrap it up. We're 2 hours and 5 minutes and counting. Man Easy in the background. I'll bring you on very, very quickly after this. But my main man Rich is in the background. Rich, what do you got to say?
Right. Evening, everyone. So I've just been out here just marking books whilst dealing with the calls and that. But Brad's great show as always. I just want to ask you something. Now, a lot of people say that obviously Ollie hasn't been backed, which I agree. Your owners are horrible. But I'm going to pose this question to you. Should a coach or manager have the players first to implement their style of play? Or should they already have a style of play in place and get the players around that?
Don't you think he has proved that? I mean, when he came as an interim manager in the first season that he came in 3 months ago, in the 3 months that he had, I think he introduced how he wants to play. But I think in that season we got loads of injuries. Matic was out. We didn't have a right back to play. We played Victor Lindelof a right back, even though he can't play center back. So I think that he has a style of play, and he's proved that. Can
I ask what that style of play is, please?
I think that for a back six, let's just say most of the time back six, and 3 at the front. But what he wants to play and what he's proved that he wants to play was full backs forward, a quick centre back next to Harry Maguire, box to box midfielder, a midfielder that drops back. We've seen it loads of times, but in the games, like, I don't think we played well against the top six. But when we I don't know where that came from, or what I'm saying is a joke. But when we put pressure on how his record with top six, I think since the Chelsea game, I think he was magnificent. Against Spurs. I think against Liverpool, a bit unlucky because we had a bad back six, or back four, I should say. I don't know, but I think we've been a bit unlucky with the fullbacks that he had. But speaking about that, Arman Bissaka, I don't think that's coaching. I think if that's coaching, then Luke Shaw would have done it at the other side. I think that he doesn't have positional sense. I don't know. I think the manager should fix that, but I think he's got a problem as well with his positional sense.
Can I challenge that slightly? This comment here.
Yeah, go on.
All right, just talking about the architectural plans. Now, if you don't block me, don't kick me out. Do not kick me out here, brothers. But if you look at Pep, right, he joined City, and he had really bad players. However, that didn't stop him from playing a style of play. Similar, and here's where I'm going to get kicked out. Jurgen Klopp didn't have the best of players, but he had a style of play which he embedded in straight away until he got his players. With Ollie, personally, from what I can see, he had a style of play when he came in, which worked straight after Jose left, and you went on a really good run. The first moment you had a negative result, I believe it was Burnley at the time.
No, Burnley we drew.
Yeah, it was a negative result. You didn't win that game, and then after
The
that,
Everton
all
game,
of a
you mean?
sudden,
The Everton game?
I can't remember. It was a couple of seasons back, but all of a sudden, you've got two holding midfielders. The 4-3-3 just got scrapped. Look at even last season. Returned back from COVID, season restarted. Played 4-3-3 with one holding midfielder, which was Matic. All of a sudden, the double pivots come. I think every time his job's been on the line, he's reverted back to what he knows and what he's comfortable with.
I think with that comment that you showed, Bradley, I think I agree with that. Honestly, I do.
Oh,
Graham
yeah,
Potter actually, Brighton actually are big. Even Leeds have a bad back four, but they play well.
You
They're
said it all when you were asked what our style of play was. You said we have a back six. You said it in your defensive, Ollie. You've signed as
yeah, because you can't defend the style of play, can you? Like I agree with that he should be our manager next season, but I think like he always doesn't have like a one style of play. He always like every game like has a different style of play. We see
freestyling management. We've seen it.
You could say that.
Really
like we saw most of the season today. The first half we play crap, and the second half we play like prime Barcelona. Yet most of the games we start well, then we drop out in the second half. So
folks, great man, Hamza. We're gonna call it because it is 2 hours and 11 minutes now. Flip me. Back to Rich's point, and we'll top it off.
It was a good show though.
Yes, and glad to give everybody their shout. But to Rich's point there, when he was mentioning Klopp, when he was very close to me hitting that button, Rich, you're lucky, you're a good lad. But you was seen with Pep and was seen with Klopp that they immediately employed their style of play, their general what's the word? Their mind, their imprint on the club as a whole. And you've seen their performances at the beginning of both of their reigns weren't great. I think the first season, Liverpool finished something like mid-table, something really bad. But after a while, their management style, their ideas all became a part of the club, and they got out the players that didn't suit that. They brought in players that did suit that, even players that people were going, not too sure. But just gonna jump. Mark Goldbridge very famously said about he called him the Dutch Chris Smalling. My main man Van Dijk called him the Dutch Chris Smalling. But when that happened, people were like, for that money, are you sure? But it was the perfect player for his system, and that's why you see when they rotate their players out, they do have, especially Man City, potentially have a better squad in terms of quality once you go back. But any player they put in, they have an embedded knowledge of the system. The system the system does half the job for them. As soon as Man United, as soon as we scratch past the surface, they have no idea what to do. It's freestyle. Let's go and make it up. And you see, and this is why I keep saying I want to see Ollie more on the side of the pitch. If he's bringing on somebody, if he brings on Donny, who gets 5 minutes every 3 months, be on the sidelines there. If he's not doing something, if he's not suiting your tactics, your style, you are on the edge of that pitch and you're saying you should be here. We've seen it, and we've seen a lot of people said horrible things about Jose Mourinho, but when he came out and he said that about Luke Shaw, that ridiculous statement he made, he said the interviewer said to him, Luke Shaw was very good tonight, and he says, yes, well, it was his body, but it was my mind. I told him what to do. So there's two sides of that. What a ridiculous thing to say.
And the other comment that he said about
go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the other comment that he said about like Ashley Young and David Blind and are better than than Luke Shaw. But just jumping into that, with the pressure that we put on Ole most of the time, don't we think that he focuses on short term with his players than long term because of the amount of pressure that he has, and like he wants to continue his dream job at Man United?
But that's not what we're here for. Anyway, folks, we'll call it a day. Great call, Hamza. I'll have a wee word with Rich, but Hamza, great call. Even though you're completely wrong about most of the things you're talking about, especially Victor Lindelof, but great call. I appreciate it. Make sure you call
Oh
back.
no, Lindelof is soft, man. Come on.
How do you hit
Or I see a shout out to United fan TV before I got kicked out.
You saved it there, Hamza. Great call. Call in next time. Cheers, bro. Rich,
Right.
again, you're not even a United fan. Let me just put that out there for anybody who's watching this. Me and man Rich supports Crystal Palace, and I have a deep dislike. I've said it before for Crystal Palace because the last game I went to see Man United before all this pandemic nonsense, they beat us. I spent a lot of money to go over and watch that game to only see a Dan James wonder goal, to be fair, and a late loser. So I have a deep disliking for your club, but Rich, you're the main man. You've helped out when KG's been out doing his work. Again, guys, KG is working. That's why he's not here. He's acting. He's acting his heart out. He's out doing Ted Lasso season 2. So keep an eye out for that coming. Out at the minute, which he's in, is also Bloods. So go and check that out. That's on Sky. But Rich has stepped in for the background stuff that I usually do, and he's done it perfectly well. I want to say thank you very much, Rich, and you're just a legend. What do you guys
No,
say?
it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure to help. As much as we support different teams, football's the big thing that unites us all. You know, and funny enough, it was the European Super League that brought our paths together. You know what I mean? So, no, it's a pleasure as always. Continue to do your thing as well with United Fan TV. I see the subs growing. It's definitely growing, you know. It'll get there. It will definitely get there.
Yep.
And obviously, we've spoken about what's potentially and highly likely happening in the summer. So, yeah, some exciting news going moving forward. But yeah, continue to sub to United Fan TV, like, share, comment, follow KG, watch Bloods, watch Ted Lasso when it comes out, and join us on Sunday. We're here.
And make sure if you're watching this now, hit the like button. Even if you're not watching it live, or watching it in the future, hit the like button. Make sure you've subscribed, because on Sunday KG will be back, and for the final KG will be back, and it'll be a lot more entertaining and funny. And I'll have my wee bit here and there probably, but
and you can save your voice.
So I do think it is actually gone, and I do need it tomorrow. But anyway, Rich, legend as always. I'm disappointed you didn't have the popcorn tonight, because I wish I could have just fired you up eating that endless thing of popcorn. But
too busy marking papers.
You need to get yourself to the shop for Sunday and get some popcorn in, bro.
100% already.
Rich, thanks very much, legend. Now we're 2 hours and 15 minutes in, and I have to apologize for wasting everybody's time. Although nobody's forcing you to be here, to be fair. I'm going to bring on one last chat, but pre-warning, and I might just cut you off mid-sentence. I am about to fall asleep, but I'd rather just hit the end broadcast button before I do fall asleep, because that would be very inappropriate, and KG would probably not be very happy with me. But I'm going to bring this chap on because he's been on there for a little while, and I don't like leaving people out. Manny, very quickly, what you got to say, bro?
Hi, Bradley. Listen, you look tired, so I'm not gonna make this a long one, okay? So listen, this game I was disappointed, obviously, and if you're a United fan, this game should be a wake up call for you. Listen, if you still think that we need a striker or a right winger, prioritizing that over CDM or center back, then you're. I don't want to make this a bad thing, but you're part of the problem too. We need to realize that center back and CDM and possibly right back is the priorities in the summer. And yeah, I hope everyone like realizes that. And to be honest with you, Bradley, this game describes our season in a nutshell. If you really think about it, we score a very good goal, teamwork play. We didn't finish our chances, and the lack of discipline in the box with Aaron Wan-Bissaka cost us the game. And somebody even say that we nicked a draw. You know, yeah, and that's the thing. And I just want to end this my call. I'm just gonna go now with saying that next season, listen, Oli needs to fix up this in the small games. In the past 3 seasons, I remember in the 18-19 season we lost to Cardiff City, and they were already relegated. We lost to them 2-0 at Old Trafford. We lost to Huddersfield, I think, too. And the last season we lost to Watford, Bournemouth away. These losses we cannot do them anymore, and we are a big club. And I don't know why, but I just had the ego to before the game that I thought we were going to slap Fulham 3-0 or 4-0, but I should have like noticed the fact that we are not slapping any relegated teams anyway. This season we lost to Sheffield United 1-2. Like every United fan should realize that.
Great call, Manny. Yes, that was very good points well made. I'll be honest with you, I didn't hear any of that because it's really slow. Really slow. That's how tired I am. It's very late here,
Yeah.
and I do have work in the morning. Tell me this, man of the match.
Whoa, man of the match. You know what? I was going to say McTominay, but because of the fact that he went at the 60 minute, I would say De Gea actually. Yo, why are you laughing, man?
Yeah, I agree, Manny. Yep, I definitely agree. Cavani was definitely man of the match. Good
Yeah.
call. See you later, Mugger. There's also another bloke in the background here. I assume it's a bloke. It's called Joe. Joe, before I bring you on, this is the last call. I promise. Joe, give me your one-word review of the game.
Yeah, it was.
He said, "Yeah, happy days, right, folks." Good. No, I feel bad. I need to be more ruthless, Joe. Just be quick. You've got 30 seconds. I'm not going to listen. I'm going to just count the clock. 30 seconds. Off you go.
All right. All I'm gonna say is that the game was pretty disappointing. We should have. Fulham's already relegated. We should have killed it off by 3 goals or something like that. But it really shows how we miss players like Maguire. I mean, we all slag him off a lot of times, but we need him. So it's time for you to go to sleep. So I'm gonna leave you.
Joe, please call in on Sunday after the Wolves game. KG will be back. I'll be doing my thing in the
Right.
background. I'll maybe come on and have some reckless opinions and slobber about Maguire because he's absolutely useless. Absolutely useless. Call in, Joe. Great call.
No problem.
Right, folks. I actually think I might sleep until Sunday. I might miss the game, so you might not have to listen to me anymore. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you've liked the video. Make sure you've subscribed. This Bradley marathon of nonsense and not KG-ness. I've been called a fraud many a time. I didn't ever profess to be KG. Okay? I always say right at the start, unfortunately, I'm not KG, but I can only be who I am. Now, if you want, I can do his accent, and although I do kind of pretend to be him with the noises and the useless stuff. But anyway, I can only do what I can do. You come here for a certain type of brand, I try and give you that. But again, I'm just not that guy. Anyway, this is quite likely is my last one. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Again, as I said at the start, this isn't about me. It is about KG, but it's not about KG. It's about you guys coming on, getting something to say. That's why we did this, even though KG couldn't do it. I wanted to come on, give everybody their chance to come out and speak, get their voice out there, and say stupid things about my main man, Victor Lindelof, the best player in the whole entire world. Anyway, see you later, muckers. Bye.